Pick your target. Watch the stabilizer go fix. Anybody cover me. I don't suppose I've got my tail. Gotta hold them here. Watch your left. I can't shake them.
Mann, Nachhinein! Ich will auch nur die Tournament spielen! Los! Starte das verdammte Spiel! Starte das Spiel, du Hurensohn, nicht wegspielen! Du Wichser! Spielen! Es lädt! Es lädt! Ich will nicht, dass es lädt! Wenn es lädt, dann muss man immer so lange warten! Nein, nicht tun, das ist das doch noch! Nein, nicht tun, das ist warten!
Oh, yeah, fucking broke me. Well done, Dad.
That was,
Well
without a shadow of a doubt, the best intro we've ever had on this show.
Oh,
Absolutely superb, mate. Brilliant.
oh, that was worth the wait.
To be fair, I take umbrage with this intro. One, because that guy looked like me, and two, that was me a minute ago. Because my God, first and foremost, to everyone watching, hello, welcome. But we are really, really sorry for the delay because we've had an absolute nightmare when it comes to technical difficulties getting this show up and running. It's been a bit of a nightmare for some reason, and this is a bit of a pre-warning, but my Wi-Fi seems to be dropping in and out. And throughout these streams, the graphics that you'll see on screen when we're talking about products and all that sort of stuff, I have to load them into the stream manually after a certain point. So if at any time my connection dips or I disappear or I vanish from screen or I pixelate, then I apologise. I'm not sure what's going on, but we're going to do our best to work through it. But I'm feeling as unhinged as that intro. I hope you guys are feeling hinged. Dan, James, welcome back, guys. How are you feeling?
Ready to murder some bitches with my opinions that nobody else will agree with besides you two.
That's fine. I'm sure we have allies in the chat. Dan, how are you, mate? You all right?
Surviving, thriving, living it, loving it.
Good stuff. That's what we like to hear. We've got a packed house once again tonight. There's quite a few people in the chat. A lot of you have been keeping busy while we were trying to get through those technical difficulties at the end. So I appreciate the quotes. I appreciate the chat. Keep it coming throughout. Love to see it. We've got Straight Out Corazon in the chat. Collector Cove 93. Richard Coleman. Out of the Basement as well. Luke Warren, Andrew, welcome everyone. And let's dive into some Star Wars toy talk, because there's we haven't got usually we only tend to get together for these streams when it comes to product reveals, but we haven't got a massive amount to go through. But given we've got the Acolyte and all the stuff surrounding that, we have had a few product reveals, a couple even dropped yesterday, and we've also got like pickups and stuff that we want to run through as well. So it should be a decent stream. Looking forward to it. First and foremost, let's get it out of the way. Acolyte, episode 5 just dropped yesterday. It's got its lovers, it's got its haters, it's got its fans, it's got its detractors. How do you guys feel about it? Where do you stand? Loving it, hating it? Where are we at?
After you, Dan.
I'm really enjoying it. I thought my biggest concern prior to it being out was how much I'd need to know about the High Republic going into it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of media spanning, in quite a short space of time. So what I'm really enjoying about it is the fact that I've been able to just go in and not get bogged down with a lot of what's happened before. Mm-hmm. So it's great. I've been really enjoying it. I think a lot of the haters can just chill out. If you don't like it, quite simply, don't watch. Don't yuck other people's yum. I really like it.
Good.
Not even ashamed.
No,
Not even ashamed to
good.
say it.
Love it. What about you, James? How do you feel about it? You liking it so far?
Yeah, loving it. Every week I'm left wanting more. That's what I want from a good TV show. As Dan said, I mean, I talk about it a lot. I like to challenge the trolls on the internet, and many people have tried to say, "Oh, it's not very good," or "Oh, this isn't Star Wars. Bring back George Lucas." And it's like, well, if I go into a restaurant and there's a food that I don't particularly like, I don't eat it, for one, if I don't like it, and I certainly don't tell everybody on the internet that I'm eating something I don't like. So, it speaks volumes.
It's one of those things, isn't it? I mean, like, if you're not enjoying it and there are things about it that you don't like, that's absolutely fine. It's At the end of the day, Star Wars is an art form. It's it's media. It's subjective. It's what you think. If you're not enjoying it, that's absolutely fine. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's not ruining Star Wars. It's not ruining anything, because if you don't like it, you separate it from the Star Wars that you do enjoy. But it doesn't ruin it. It doesn't ruin anything. It might not be very good for you, but it's not ruining Star Wars in general. It's just
contrary to popular opinion.
Well, do you know what? like Dan said, the haters can. Like I said, my thoughts. I'm loving it as well. I'm really enjoying it. I'm finding it a breath of fresh air personally, because it's something a little bit different. Like Dan said, I went into it with these preconceptions that I'm going to need to know things about the High Republic. I haven't read any of the novels. I haven't read any of the books. I haven't really dipped my toe into that era of Star Wars yet, so I was hesitant. But the fact that a lot of the characters are original to the series, like you said, you're going in blind a little bit because it's an original story, and it doesn't have these links and ties to things that have come before or after it. Obviously, it's a prequel.
Homework. There's no homework.
Exactly. It's a prequel in its own right. Obviously, it's a prequel, and so we ultimately know in the end the ramifications of what is going on. But I'm enjoying the mystery of it. It's a murder mystery, and it's I don't know. It's just different. It's just different, and different's not necessarily always bad. And after last night's episode, I'll be honest. I mean, spoiler alert for anyone in the chat who hasn't seen it yet. But I'm not seeing. I'm not necessarily seeing what everybody else is seeing. Everybody's saying this is so shit, and it's so bad, and it's this, and it's that, and it's the other. I get that there are going to be certain things about it that not everybody likes, and I appreciate the elements of it that people don't like. Without going into too much detail and without politicizing everything. But I get it. I do understand it. But for me, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, there's nothing different about this to anything else that we've seen and has been universally praised. For me, this isn't in a different league to Ahsoka or anything like that. I mean, we've got a couple in the chat, and and this is not a dig to you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not having a go, but I'm here for the constructive debate. But Richard, for example, he said there is a good story in The Acolyte, but the writing is very slipshod and the production is poorly realised. It's a shame. I'm not seeing that. Fair play to you, Richard, if that is the way that you've interpreted it and that's what you're getting from it. That's fine, But I'm not seeing that. I mean, episode 5, for example, I thought the production, choreography, which I think is one of the things that there's so many people now so many people who've been very, very vocal about it so far have all said, the story's really awful, but the choreography in that last episode was pretty good, and it's killing them to say something positive about it. And I'm just like, but why? Because it's not, there's lights. I shared something on my Instagram story recently, and it was, I forget the original poster, but it was somebody had posted on a Facebook page saying that him and a friend were discussing The Acolyte and what made a good Star Wars, And if the blasters go pew pew and the lightsabers go hum hum, then it's a good Star Wars.
That's it.
And it's a good Star Wars. It's a good Star Wars. The only issue I have, and this goes back to Richard's point about the production, is I'm not a fan of the abrupt endings. The endings of each episode feel very sudden.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I'm all for a cliffhanger, and I'm all for building the suspense, but I'm at that point now where as soon as I start the episode, and given that each episode is probably about 35 minutes long, I'm not on the edge of my seat for the action. I'm on the edge of my seat because I'm like, at what point is this going to end? Because it tends to stop very immediately and very abruptly, and I'm not a fan of that. Not a fan of that.
I found that it feels a little bit like a book ending where it's like, oh, this is where the chapter ends. I don't know if that's just me that feels like that. But...
Yeah. I mean, Seth just brought up a really, really good point. It's a mystery thriller. The story isn't supposed to make sense right away. Agreed. It's a slow burner. Yeah. If it doesn't work out, then there's an issue, which is a totally fair assessment of it. For me, episode 5, it had its really, really good points. Like I said, the lightsaber duels and the mystery surrounding the reveal of the stranger and all that sort of stuff. I was there for it. The reveal for me, a little bit underwhelming, but I'm willing to give it a chance and see where it develops and why that choice was made. Because again, these are original characters. This is an original story. So no one knows the reason for that reveal. So yeah, we'll see how it does pan out. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not seeing what everyone else is seeing. I'm enjoying it. Really, really enjoying it. Loving the characters. I think for me, Jedi Master Sol is up there. Not necessarily on the same level just yet, but in terms of how quickly I've taken to a character, he's up there with Bale and Skull for me, because I want to know more about this guy. And especially after that last episode, where it's like, oh, hey up, there's something a little bit more to this character than meets the eye, you know.
It's got a really cool lightsaber as well.
He's just got a cool everything. His entire aura, you know, his entire aura is really good. I'm really liking his character, and I think I'm in love with it a little bit more, just because of, and I'm not even going to attempt to butcher his name, but the wonderful actor who plays Sol, who it was recently revealed learn English in 4 months to prepare for this role. That is incredible. Yeah. And you can't help but love that. You know, we're getting so many comments about some of the cast who've made slip-ups in interviews about Star Wars facts and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, that's another thing that so many people have said has contributed to their disapproval of this show, is that, well, the actors aren't even fans. They don't even know who blew up the Death Star. The actors don't need to be Star Wars fans for me to enjoy a show. As long as they can act, I don't give a toss. So, you know, they can think that the Emperor was a Gungan for me. I don't give I don't care. I really don't care. So, you know, it is what it is. If the actor brings something to the role, and in this instance, Jedi Master Sol and the actor who portrays him, amazing stuff. You know, I'm loving that.
I think as well, if they're trying to attempt to like engage with the fandom, because I've seen a lot of the cast talk about the films that came before, like the fact that they've gone, had a look and done a bit of their own research. I think that's great, because we've seen it with the guy who plays Sol. He said that he was really inspired by Qui-Gon Jinn and Liam Neeson's performance, and you see that in his acting.
Yeah, definitely. And
that's just so many calls.
And that relates to Andrew's comment there, saying they do have to understand their character in their relation to the story. I'm sure they do. But these characters don't have anything to do with Anakin and the Death Star, so it's fine. They don't need to know about that. As long as they get the character that they're playing, which it has been abundantly apparent that they do, that's perfectly fine. You know,
Put it this way: they don't need to know what a fucking hydro spanner is.
this is what I mean. They don't need to. They don't need to understand. They don't need to understand the entire lore. As long as they get the character that they're playing, it's absolutely fine. Very refreshing to see comments that are a mixed bag. Like I said, appreciate the people that aren't enjoying it. That's fine. That's you do you. But yeah, Big Bendu. Great using it, by the way. I'm loving the story and characters, and most flaws stated by fans can still be explained away with further plot progression. Exactly, and this is the thing that's been. This is the thing for me, is that even when the trailers came out, so many people were so quick to judge it. This is a poorly written show. This is bad. This is going to be bad. How can you tell you've not seen it yet? Yes, but
gas is flammable.
The writing's terrible. The writing is bad. How do you know it's a trailer? Yes, but it's woke. Why is it woke? Oh, because it's a bad show. It's just stop being a mouth.
Two women
Get out your
have children.
fucking mother's basement, Jesus Christ!
If you can back up your points, then by all means go ahead and explain why you dislike the show. I mean, everyone in the chat so far has done that. Love it, and I'm loving the discourse around it. Yeah, but yeah, if you're just complaining for the sake of complaining, get a better hobby. Honestly,
one of the things I saw on Twitter which made me laugh was somebody moaning about how there's just too many women. There's too many women in this Star Wars project. It was typically a white male that was arguing this point, and I thought, well, how many women's too many women for you? One. If you're clearly preaching this fucking point.
To quote the great. The great Tourette's guy. There's women everywhere, you dumbass. There's a video from years ago, Tourette's guy, and he's roaming around a supermarket, and he's effing and blinding, and he's effing this and effing that. And a store employee comes up to the guy and says, "Do you mind not swearing? There's women in here." There's women everywhere, you dumbass. And it's great. But yeah, like I said, I think it's unanimous. The three of us are enjoying the show. If ever I get to a point where I don't enjoy my Star Wars, I won't talk about the Star Wars. You know, I'm not going to sit here and discuss something that I'm not a fan of. If I don't like something, I'll just go, do you know what? It's not for me. But you know, it is what it is. I just don't understand the vitriol surrounding it. I don't get that at all. It doesn't make sense to me. But
does it? I don't know the right turn of phrase for it. It's not necessarily worry. Does it concern you guys that the people that are in these social circles, that lead certain social circles, are the ones that preach above and beyond that they are die-hard fans? We love Star Wars. We love George Lucas Star Wars. This isn't that. And then they go on to question everything that's going on as if it's a problem when it in fact isn't. Because it's like, the thing that they were hanging on to with everybody's favourite Jedi, Ki-Adi-Mundi, was the fact that his age was on a trading card. A fucking trading card. Okay? Monopoly comes with money. I'm not a fucking millionaire. So, go figure this out, right? Sorry, my fucking phone with me notes has just fallen. It's been a day. It's been a fucking day. Right, but I don't need to explain. I shouldn't have to sit here and explain, but I will for the irony of the situation. If you've watched the prequels, you'll know that Ki-Adi-Mundi is the great fucking denier. Okay, the Sith have been extinct for a millennium. Clearly not, because Sidious and fucking Plagueis and Darth Maul, they existed. They didn't just fucking come out of thin air for that film, did they? Attack of the Clones. Count Dooku's not a murderer. He's a political idealist.
He's the biggest gaslighter going, isn't it? He's a prick.
He says to Obi-Wan, "Oh, what would you do if I told you the Senate was being controlled by Dark Lord of the Sith, Darth Sidious?" And Obi-Wan's like, "It's a lie. The Jedi would sense it." Clearly fucking not. Can we just agree that the Jedi are in fact full of shit? Because it's pretty well explained. You could go deeper, but just for that, it's pretty well fucking explained. So the fact that it breaks canon because he was there and they talked about potential Dark Jedi.
James, what about the droid attack on the Wookiees? Because that completely diverts the whole conversation in episode 3. One of the best Jedi, who could probably kick Grievous' ass in an instant, they sent him off to look after the Wookiees. Hubris.
It's just, it is purely that, and I think that's what it is for a lot of people. I think a lot of people are sitting there and they're still clung to that idea of the Jedi are perfect and they are wholesome and they are good and they are the best and they have the answers to everything and they can do no wrong. And it's the same crowd that didn't get that Homelander was the villain.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's that. Yeah. It's that.
I don't watch the fucking boys, and I can understand that. So
mate, I've started watching it. I've binged through it, and I've just started season 4, and I'm now seeing the discourse on, like, going off on a tangent completely. This is a Star Wars stream, but I'm seeing the discourse now surrounding Homelander and everything, and I'm thinking, what the fuck are these people be watching? And I think it's the same group, but do you know what? It's fine. It's fine. We're gonna end up down a rabbit hole with the Acolyte, I think. So I think it's time we shift gears a little bit, and we dive into some pickups. Let's talk some toys. Let's brighten the mood.
Let's start with this one.
Yeah!
Hey!
Oh, mine's on the shelf.
Man, you know, to say he's got 2 brains inside that noggin of his, he's not a very clever lad, is he?
He's not got 2 brains. It's a big willy. I think he looks a lot like those people on Twitter that are moaning.
Dickhead.
Yeah. Come at me.
Let's go around the table and discuss our latest pickups, lads, because I think we've all been busy bees. We'll start with you, James, because you've actually dropped in some photographers to share with us because your boxes are in the loft, I believe.
They are. Many boxes.
So James has been on his usual Hot Toys hype, and he's picked up. We've got 4 Hot Toys to go through for James. James, the floor is yours, my friend. Talk about what you've been spending your very hard and vast amounts of cash on.
Well, that one's Django Fett, who's a bit of an older one. He's been out for a few years now, actually, but Padawan Anakin came out, which is probably another slide. So, you know, had to get that one to go with the others, didn't I? It's just collector's math. Well, go nice with what's already nice on the shelf. Something else that's nice and also expensive. So there we go.
Needs a friend.
Yeah, that's Mace Windu. That's the Jedi that definitively died in Revenge of the Sith. He's pretty cool. Took me ages to get his robes looking nice. That's why you're looking at pictures, because I like to pose my figures and then probably, you know, touch them very little. Maybe never again.
No, that's fair. That's fair. That's one of the things I should have mentioned before these images came up on screen, is that these are photos from James's own personal collection. These are his figures. They're not press shots or anything like that. So if you're in the market for some toy porn and you want to go and you know, rub your Ki-Adi-Mundi head to some fantastic Star Wars images, then head over to at RoboQuiff Collects on Instagram, because there's some pretty tasty stuff over there. Case in point, these 2 bad boys.
Yes.
Very
it shall forever be known as
I think we've just got our new stream name, guys. Rubbing the Monday.
Oh, that's good. That's very good.
I love that. That's perfect. Yeah, the fact that you've got 2 of those Imperial Commandos, mate, I'm a very jealous chap.
You're not going to be jealous of the fucking price they cost me. Bloody hell. It's all Mark's fault. It's one sick photographer on Instagram, because I was like, I'm not getting these. For context, My fucking phone keeps falling down. Good lord. Right. Commandos. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, they came out as random Hot Toys exclusives, so they're limited to 2,500 pieces worldwide. They just dropped them randomly. They announced them one day, they were released the next. And for me and my little autistic brain, that's not enough time to make an informed decision as to whether I want them in the collection or not, because I'm absolutely crazy and I plan out where things are going to go way too far in advance. So once I've got a picture in my head and that potentially is going to be disturbed, then that triggers me. I don't know what to do. So I paid the price. I waited a week and ended up probably paying about 30 quid extra more because I couldn't decide straight away. And conveniently now the price has dropped a little bit. So yay me. But they look cool.
They do. They do.
They look cool.
Really
Look
good.
awesome.
Yeah.
And
The
that
visors
Anakin
are
is. Oh yeah, they've got batteries in them, so you can light the visors up.
Nice.
Whoa.
Nice. I think. Oh, I should have got one.
So they are really fucking cool. Everybody moaned about those as well because the same thing with the Black Series stuff. It's like, oh well, the animated proportions. They're not supposed to be if it's a realistic interpretation. And it's like all the Clone Wars Hot Toys are essentially an artistic interpretation. I have indeed got the Padme. If you head over to my Instagram, you can see a picture with both of the figures together.
Shameless plug.
That's the one. But they're from the Bad Batch, so it's like it's an artistic interpretation. It's a mix of both, and they've always been like that. But no plans for the droideka. Looks cool, but it's too big. I don't think you get enough for what you pay with that, to be fair. But yeah, Anakin's a sexy beast.
That's quite interesting that you say that about the Hot Toys droideka, and that you feel that you don't get enough for what you pay for with that. But the Black Series one has been, pretty much for the most part universally praised. So what is it about the two that where's the disconnect between the Hot Toys one and the Black Series one for you in terms of value?
It's more of a sense of because it's a droid. It's not your traditional figure style droid. It's more. I see it as more of a machine, or how do I explain it? It's like
it's not a figure. It's like you say, it's not. A figure.
Yeah. It's over 250 quid, and I don't need a droideka that costs that much.
Yeah.
I didn't need to. Fucking Imperial Commandos that cost that much, but it happened.
I must
but
admit,
the difference is I've got the Bad Batch and they go nicely with them. So
that's a lower price for the droideka than I thought it would be. I thought something like that, and all the engineering because if the engineering that's gone into the Hasbro one is as good as it is, the Hot Toys one can only be even better.
In fact, I think the Hot Toys one puts the Hasbro one to shame because they actually show in the pictures how you can correctly turn it into the full ball, whereas the Hasbro one can't actually accurately form the full sphere or whatever you want to call it.
That don't seem like a bad price then. 250 quid. That's pretty decent. That's better than I thought it'd be. Anyway, like I said.
I wish I could say there was a formula to it because. Once upon a time, I didn't buy Troopers, and I was very much in the mindset of if I'm paying X amount for a Hot Toy, I think it needs to have a head sculpt to warrant the price because that likeness is something you're not getting anywhere else. And then it just fucking snowballed. So it's like, well, that figure would look good with this one. Troopers would look cool there. I don't fucking know. Alright, it works better than medication, so if you're depressed or fucking sad, just spend 200 quid on a figure, don't go your doctors, fuck that.
We interrupt this programming to bring some breaking news because I've just got this is a bit of a channel milestone that's just taken place right now, so I'm just gonna raise this because Richard Coleman, absolute legend, has just made there's a technical name for these.
I believe it's called a super chat.
That's the one.
Super chat.
That's the one. There it is. Richard Coleman, bless your soul, my friend, because he's just made the very first super chat contribution to the channel, which is amazing. Thank you so much. That has
Me hard to straight.
that has made this the technical difficulties we had at the beginning of this stream. Honest to God, I genuinely thought that we weren't going to get off the ground tonight, and I thought we were going to have a bit of an issue, but that has just made the patience worth it. So Richard, I'm going to read your comment out, my friend, because Richard's been dipping out in and out of my channel since I was knee high to a mouse droid, which is a fair assessment, to be fair. But a number of figs based on your reviews. Live long and prosper, dude. Mate, thank you so much. I can't stress enough how much I appreciate that. That's absolutely amazing. You didn't have to do that, but you have, and it's very, very much appreciated. Thank you very, very much from right here, because that is incredibly generous and incredibly cool. So thank you very, very much for that. Not quite sure how to follow it, to be honest, but we're going to give it a go. So cheers for sharing your pickups, James. Very tasty indeed.
I have got one more. You've seen Chiadi Mundi. So yeah.
Oh yeah. We've got to talk about those. Hang on. I'm just gonna.
I can't find my bloody lens. There we go.
This isn't me being biased, Dan. We'll come back to you.
No, it's fine, mate. He's got both of them.
He's got two.
He's got best of both worlds.
Talk us through these, James, then, because these guys popped up in the thumbnail night stream. So what's their names?
I'll talk about them if you take me off the big screen.
What are their names and where? No, just like we need to see them.
All right.
What's the names and where did they come from?
This one's Larry and he's from down the road. So Vale's Toy Store on AliExpress has finally got off whatever crazy high horse they were riding for the last 3 months, making up daft figures, and finally made some movie accurate ones. So they've done a 212th Airborne Trooper from Revenge of the Sith. The standard version has got this beige Karma and these helmet markings accurate to the film. And then there's a sniper version available, which is a bit of a made-up one, and it comes with a better blaster than this. The markings, I think, are just the same ones that are on the Purge Trooper figure, and then they've given him a black Karma, and it comes with the sharpshooter sniper rifle. You can see it in Jedi Fallen Order on one of the Purge Trooper classes. The reason he's not holding it is because I've rightfully given it to the Purge Trooper, because Hasbro failed to cast that weapon when they bought that figure out. They got weird heads. Let me show you. It's on backwards because it's the only way you can't see the chin poking out. Look at that. Look how thin that is. Somebody sat on there in the factory. That's been between some butt cheeks.
Is it a little bit reminiscent of Beavis and Butthead? Because I'm looking at mine.
Yes! Oh, dear. No, they're very cool, though, and they make way for a fair bit of new tooling that Hasbro haven't touched with the barge pole, so naturally I bought them. Most people that collect Black Series will know that they're not really bootlegs, even though that's what they are. They're just as good a quality.
Not bootlegs.
Go on then, Dan.
Beautiful.
Yoga.
This my one. We've looked at him, but I've gone a bit nuts recently. I could show tons of crap that I've bought. Mental health, but you know, let's just focus on the main bits that are Star Wars related. So the first thing, I put on my big boy pants recently because HMV's had this no, not HMV. Game has had this on shelf for ages. The box is battered, dinged, trashed, and it was still sat there for like 60 quid. You know, like, I've seen people get this for 30. So finally, I plucked up the courage to pick it up off the shelf give it to a staff member and say, can you just scan this for and see how much it is? And lo and behold, I got this for £30 little. It's Trapper Wolf's helmet. I didn't really intend to pick this up, but I'm glad I did for the grand sum of £30 coins. So I've been wearing this when it's not hot because I sweat like a motherfucker. So yeah, that's really, really cool. I'm really pleased with that. What else? Oh yeah, so I was on eBay because eBay's really tickling my pickle a lot recently. It's a dangerous thing to fall down, guys. And I saw this, and this is a grail figure for me. It's so
nice.
dirgy, baby. So I had to get this to keep carding, and I was sat there like, oh, I need it uncarded. Even though the articulation's a bit jank. But I found another one from the same seller, actually. So I could have it uncarded. So I am a happy little boy with
Nice.
that. So, yeah. He's very, very cool. I might do a little review on him at some point. So, yeah. There's some cool bits. Now, do I show the next one? Do I show the next one?
Yes, show it all.
Do I show it all? Okay, then. I'm a bit nervous about this one. So, I've always wanted to make a custom action figure. I've not had the gonads to do it, although I happily will do little tiddly miniatures that you can just vaguely see there. So I thought, you know what, I've been playing Star Wars Hunters, of which is a little mobile Switch game. I've been really enjoying it. It's goofy fun. So I was like, oh, I want to make a figure of this guy because I love playing as him because he's got a big gun. He likes to shoot things. He just runs into situations like me. And so I found some 3D printed parts. I got myself a Stormtrooper. Granted, I could have got it cheaper if I did wait just a few more days on Amazon when it was 15 quid rather than spending 25. But that's fine. That's okay. So I built myself Sentinel from Star Wars Hunters.
That looks
so
fucking mint.
Nice.
Thank you. The helmet is 3D printed. Shoulder pauldron, the strap, obviously his big overcompensating gun, the pouch as well, just there, and his backpack, that's 3D printed. And then, because they're really small detail, and I could have left this out, but he has like an exposed arm. So what I did was I took
that's
a Luke from
Wow.
the Heir to the Empire, popped the arm out, did some Dremelin. It's not perfect, 'cause you can see the arm popping out, so I might just go back on that. Got some green stuff and just sculpted, kind of like tattered, you know, undergarments for him, undershirt, and then just painted it black, and then just glued on the shoulder pad. I'm hopefully going to have a video of this and the process on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I might still tweak it a bit more, give it a bit of a weather, but I'm pretty chuffed with it.
It's nice, that is.
Amazing, mate. That is so good. Like, obviously, for those, I just want to point out as well, while Dan's got the floor, I'm uploading some slides into the stream so that we can go through some products later on. So if my audio quality dips in and out, again, I do apologise. My Wi-Fi's playing up today for some reason. But Dan, one thing I want to point out there is, obviously, if for people that's been watching this channel for a while, and watching your channel for a while and tuning into these live streams, they'll know that you're a connoisseur of the Legion miniatures, and it's got to be said, mate, your skills with those miniatures have definitely transferred over to figures, because that is absolutely amazing.
Oh, thank you very much.
Just for Riley's benefit, what game did you say this was from again?
This is from Star Wars Hunters. It's on Switch. And I think it's on mobile devices as well. So yeah, Star Wars Hunters. And there's lots of goofy little characters in it. I'm sure someone's actually done a 3D print of the Mando from that. I think it's called Aaron Tal. And I'm kind of tempted to do one, but I'm not sure. There's lots of 3D prints out there.
That should be your next one, Dan.
Oh.
Can't just have him by himself.
No.
That
Yeah,
seems to
that
be
is-
a very dangerous motto for me just lately.
Oh, it's definitely opened up a can of worms. Let's just say that.
It looks amazing, mate. You should be really, really proud of yourself. That is a real, especially like on screen there. I mean, I'm sure it looks even better in person, but like it just looks Hasbro produced. Like
And that's
you
what I
wouldn't
wanted.
think that. Yeah, it looks really, really good. At first, I thought that the cannon was a 3 3/4 inch E-web.
Yeah.
Until I looked at it a little bit closer, I thought, oh, that's really clever what you've done there. But no, it's cool. I like it.
I was a bit worried because I did the spray priming on that, and I think I went a little bit overzealous. But it's worked out in its favour because it's brought out some really cool, weird, bumpy textures
Yeah.
when I've dry brushed on it. So
Yeah, no, it's
proper
cool,
chuffed.
man. Very, very cool. Really like that. That's awesome. Just going back to the chat, Richard has set off a little bit of a trend, it seems, because we've got another super chat. So
Hey.
massive shout out to Crash the Hedgehog 92. If someone's going to be first, I'll take second. Wanted to say Hasbro's been testing me on the scale balance, or testing his patience on the scale balance, but love the Shriek Hawk Mandos. Yeah, there's always going to be that discourse again with regards to the vintage collection and the Black Series. No doubt we're going to probably touch on it throughout the course of this stream, but no, those Shriek Hawk Mandos do look really, really cool. Really excited for all three of those. I think there was 3 revealed. So yeah, we'll touch on those throughout the product reveals later on. But yeah, cheers for that, Crash. Much appreciated. That brings us to my pickups.
Oh.
Well, it's kind of a cross-reference of pickups because for those of you that have been tuning into the recent batch of reviews I've been posting, the team over at Hasbro UK, with a particular shout out to Brandon if he's watching, have been sort of sorting me out with some stuff in terms of getting some content back up and running on the channel. And like I said, Hasbro UK have been more than kind enough to supply quite a few of review samples over the past few months. Now, if you've not tuned in already, we've got an exclusive first look at the Black Series Momo Nadon, aka Hammerhead, up on the channel. So do go and check that out if you haven't done so already, the new Black Series figure that's due out soon. But I received another care package of sorts from Hasbro UK this week. And in that package, I already have these figures because Hasbro UK forgot that they'd sent them out already. So we do have 2 more in the collection, 2 more Phase 1 Clone Troopers. Now, what I want to do with these, and even more so now that you guys are, dropping super chats into the streams, is I want to give something back. So because I already have these, and I've as much as I'd love to army build, I just don't have the space to do it anymore. So what I want to do with these is I want to put together a giveaway, because it's been a bloody long time since I've done one, and I usually do them over on Facebook or Instagram. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the floor once again, because in one of our recent streams that myself and Dan and James put together, we put a call out. We've said for a while now, I think it's time that, while we're an unofficial podcast of sorts, we're not even a podcast, but we're a group of lads that like to get together and talk about Star Wars. And one of the things that's missing from these streams is a cohesive name, something that brings together everything that we talk about, everything that we go over in these streams. And I said to James the other day in our little behind the scenes production meeting, I mentioned I want somebody to come up with something really catchy that I can make a really witty logo out of. So once again, I'm putting out a call to arms. If any of you guys watching can come up with some interesting names for these streams, like I said, that encompasses what the streams are all about. So that's just, blabber, toy talk, just chaos, then I'm going to throw these up for grabs. So anyone who comes up with a catchy name for these streams, and one that we ultimately pick, I'll get these out to you and share the love, because I think it's time I did that. So there you go. There's an incentive to keep watching these streams and to get involved in the chat once again. Clone Troopers, Phase 1 Clone Troopers from Hasbro, up for grabs. Yeah, drop your suggestions in the comments below. Now, further to that, I thought this would be a good opportunity to share some previews, some sneak peeks at some upcoming reviews coming to the channel. So again, with thanks to Hasbro UK, we do indeed have the dickhead himself, Kiadi Monday, which is just I think somebody mentioned it in the chat earlier on, is just an absolutely beautiful figure. I got a chance to see this one up close and in person for the first time, because it's been a bloody long time. We've been waiting for this guy for as long as he's been alive.
We were licking the cabinets at Celebration last year, weren't we, Dan? It's been that bloody long.
Yes.
Managed to get a first look at this one in hand at MCM Comic Con last month, which I was again invited along to by Hasbro UK, and to finally have this in person after such a long wait, and to see just how good it is. Like, to say he's the worst Jedi, he's the best figure. He's really, really good. So yeah, really excited to get that one ripped open and reviewed on the channel. We also have from The Mandalorian, Grief Karga's astromech. This is R46DO or 6D0, and he's of course based on that new astromech body, which R2D2 and R5D4 have used recently, and it's an absolute beaut once again. Love this obscure, you know, throwing obscure droids out into the Black Series on this mold is something that I'm here for. Like, I want to see more of it, and this one's really, really cool. Yeah, really do like that one. It's really cool. Hope we see a lot more of that. And this is actually an incentive for me, because I need to pick up a Grief Karga figure. R.I.P. the late great Carl Weathers. So yeah, really excited about that one as well. I might do a 3-in-1 review with this one actually, and give you guys a look at R2D2 and R5D4 alongside it, just because they all share the same sculpt, so it seems a bit redundant to do them all separately, because I'll be saying the same thing over and over. But yeah, really, really cool figure. Looking forward to ripping that one open as well. We also have, and I'm incredibly excited about this one, just because it's a first in hand. I think I'm the first one to have this, so you know, I'm very excited about it. It is the Mandalorian Privateer, and you know, we spoke at length in one of our last streams that I think we're getting a bit of Blue Mando fatigue, but having this one in hand, it looks really, really good. It, like, the paint applications and stuff are so crisp and so well detailed. Like, I'm loving it. It looks really good. And further to that point, this is an example of the new Black Series packaging that we're going to have over the next few months, and that we're going to see start rolling out over the next few months, should I say. So really, really clean and crisp packaging, really clean and crisp figure as well. The camera's not really doing it justice, but it is. Take my word for it, it looks very, very good. So we're going to rip him open soon and get a review up on the channel as well.
Looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it's really good. Really good. And finally...
Oh, you little tease.
Here he goes. Here he goes.
Oh.
Oh.
It has arrived.
I'm so glad you've not got me on cam.
Why? Put Kiadi Monday away, Dan. Mate, we spoke about this at length on one of the previous streams we did when it first got revealed, which mind-blowingly was only a couple of months ago. But I think it's safe to say we're all incredibly excited for this set. This is, of course, the last Command 4-pack. It does not disappoint. It does not disappoint. This is, of course, based on the Timothy Zahn novels and comic books of the same name, and it features 4 beautiful, beautiful figures.
Oh, look at the card stock.
Mate, it's. I don't want to open it. I don't want to open it. Because it's just so good. But I think this is, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the Black Series releases that I have been the most excited for out of everything that Hasbro have released in this line. It's just, again, reiterating what we said on the stream a while back. It's weird Star Wars at its peak. You know, you've got characters such as Luke, it's my new book. Joris, go on, James, do it.
Joris Sabayoth.
That's the one.
Joris
You got it right
Sabayoth.
the last time. I butchered it. So, and then we do unfortunately have a repack of Luke, but it fits the bill. And I don't actually have that one yet, so that's always good. And we do get a bit of a retool of Mara Jade as well with a new alternate head, which again I'm really excited for because I didn't pick this one up the first time it was released. So yeah, I am absolutely over the moon with this one. And again, I can't stress enough how big of a thanks goes out to Hasbro UK for hooking me up with this one, because I am so giddy for it. I am so giddy for it, and I can't wait to review it for you guys as well. What I'm going to do with this review is I'm going to split it into two parts, and I'm going to review Luke and Mara Jade together, and Joris Sabayoth and Luke together as well.
What
just
a tease.
You know, if you've already seen if you've picked these figures up already and you know what they're about for the most part, you can tune into it. You don't have to if you don't want to. But the new figures, I think, are really gonna, scratch that itch, and I'm really excited to share them. So keep an eye out for that one.
Maybe you guys can help me with a question I have about this. It may just be pointless trivia, but I read somewhere the other day that Mara Jade shouldn't have a purple lightsaber because the only time it was ever featured in media was some photography that Lucasfilm did with a certain cosplayer. Is that right?
It was the live action. They got an actress to portray Mara for promo shots for something back in the day. I forget the actress's name, so apologies for that. But she did have a purple lightsaber in those shots. Whether that's an homage to that, that's pretty cool if it is.
That's what I'm wondering, because hasn't almost every bit of merch that's come out of Mara Jade been featured with a purple lightsaber? I know there's a couple that have come with the blue one because she should have the Empire Strikes Back Luke hilt.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm a little bit colourblind. So I get my purples and my blues mixed up, which is a fun little fact for you there. But there's the Black Series 3 3/4 inch one from a few years back.
Yeah,
is that purple?
That's purple.
That's purple. There we go. So, and I absolutely love the green hair on this one as well. That's really good.
I'm
here all day.
What colour shirt have you got on, Steve?
Shut up, James.
That's my favourite colour.
But yeah, no, like I said, some absolute belting stuff. Black Series is, again, for those of you that may be new, we're a very Black Series centric stream. So yeah, Black Series, absolutely.
Keep your tears to yourselves.
Absolutely killing it at the minute, and I'm really excited about those reviews. So I'm going to get to work on those very shortly. Maybe when the weather cools down a little bit, because I've got the lights on now and I'm absolutely piping. So not looking forward to having to sit under a spotlight to do that. But yeah, be that as it may, they're well and truly on the way. I think it's time we get into some product reveals, lads, because we've had a few over the past few weeks, and it's safe to say that there's been some pretty juicy stuff. Now, I think it was, I forget. I think it was Andrew. Was it Andrew? Potentially. Someone mentioned about the Shriek Hawks. Oh, no, it was Crash, of course. Crash, who very kindly donated the super chat. Crash, the Hedgehog, mentioned. In fact, no, we'll come to the Shriek Hawks in a minute. because I think what we'll do is to keep you guys engaged and to keep you all here and listening. We'll talk about some of the more recent stuff and some of the stuff that's more likely to get your juices flowing. So, right out of the gate, we have this absolutely, speaking of beautiful Black Series product reveals, this one is a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one.
Straight in my basket. Mate,
oh my God. How excited on a scale of 1 to episode 10? where do we sit on this one? Because this is, of course, for those that may be listening, maybe you're off cleaning your collection or rubbing the Monday, and you're just listening to this stream. I hope you're not rubbing the Monday if you're listening to this stream. But how are we feeling about this? This is Darth Maul and the Sith Speeder that was just revealed yesterday, and I'm so glad it got dropped yesterday just in time for this, because if it came out tomorrow and we didn't get a chance to talk about it, I'd be kicking off. So this is like a Black Series interpretation of the 12-inch speeder bike with Darth Maul that I believe
I've got it.
Dan has.
Go on.
Go on.
Get it, Dan. Go on.
It's down there. Hold on. How do I hide myself? I don't want to show me butt crap. Hold on. Oh, steady on.
That's because he's not got his trousers on from rubbing the Monday. But yeah, this is like a Black Series interpretation of a 12-inch figure that came out back in '99. Like Sea Lion said, still got my 1999 one, so this is mine, and I'm right there with you.
You got me off guard there, didn't you?
Yeah. Show and tell with Dan once again.
Oh.
Hang on, let's pop you in solo layout. Look at that. That's the original.
Wow, he's even looking out a window for you.
It's like,
he's just pulled up at the side of Ewan McGregor at those traffic lights, and he's saying, "That's fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi."
Hey, it's your Uber. Yeah.
So that's the original.
I need the Black Series one, so I need it.
Yeah, it's a little bit spicy. This is the I'm going to be honest. This is one of the last things I expected Hasbro to drop on us. Just because I don't know, the pessimist in me kind of thought, okay, the 25th anniversary celebrations of Phantom Menace are over and done with now. We got that retro collection box set. You know, we're all done and dusted. There's not going to be anything else. And then they dropped this, and I thought, Hasbro are back. This is fucking beautiful. It's so nice.
No Black Boba Fett.
No. It's nice to see a return to form with vehicles, but vehicles that make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like, even the packaging on this is just everything about it is so tastefully and expertly done. It's
now I can finally reenact him running little Anakin over.
Yeah, get Anakin on a flight stand, diving for cover. Yeah, no, it's so cool. It's so cool. Like the overall presentation of it, everything about it. And I should emphasise as well, because Seth's just dropped in the chat. Please tell me we can get this in the UK. I don't want to give you false information, but from what I have heard, I think there will be an opportunity for people in the UK to get it. Don't quote me, I may be completely wrong, but I think there is an opportunity there for UK collectors to get this one. But
Enderman Toys normally import some as well.
They are, they do rather. But yeah, I've heard down the grapevine that there should be an opportunity there for UK collectors to get their hands on this one. But yeah, this is a San Diego Comic Con exclusive, which is why I raised Seth's point there. So this is going to be dropping probably around next month when Comic Con arrives. But it's just beautiful.
I was just going to say, Steve, I'm not sure if it's happening with this, but I know the Marvel exclusive, they're actually going to have limited quantities at the convention for the first time in about 3 or 4 years.
Oh, so you don't have to go through the whole...
Yeah, no more QR code nonsense.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. but yeah, no, like I said, just execution, everything about this is just absolutely beautiful. I mean, going back again,
They've
like,
even given him his little wristwatch.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
because that's the point as well. Going back to, because obviously it's the overall set, the Darth Maul that's included in this is, I'm guessing, with you mentioning the wrist communicator, Dan, that this is a retooled version of the Maul that's coming in the 3-pack that we touched on in our last stream with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. We're getting, repacks of those figures and then a brand new Maul. This looks to be the brand new Maul. So if you do already have those figures from the Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon and Maul set, and you don't want to pick that up just for a new Darth Maul, this is a perfect opportunity to get that one into your collection with a bonus Sith Speeder and Probe Droid as well. Should point out as well.
Yeah, I like that little droid.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's so cool. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. I don't have enough good things to say about it. Like I said, from product to packaging, everything about this is perfectly done.
It's the surprise as well, because I literally open up my phone. It's like, oh, okay, really? Hasbro's doing this? I've not had that in some. I mean, to be fair, past few years it's not been like that, but more recently it's becoming more and more frequent. Where I'm like, oh, really? Would I get in this? It's great. It's great.
It is. It's really, really good. I'm blown away by it. Really am. Like I said, even the presentation. I mean, this one for me is one of those where I am honestly, if I get this, I'm really gonna struggle to open it, because I never had the original. I was never as fortunate as you, Dan, or Sea Lion. Never got the original. So, and I think the way that this has been presented in the box is such a beautiful display piece. Yeah, I'm just really, really excited about it. Really,
I hope it's not the only vehicle we're gonna get for the foreseeable. I hope there's a small resurgence. There's so many that I'd like to have. The small tangents. I always thought that they would perhaps do Han Solo's speeder from the start of Solo, because they sort of kicked it off around that time, but it never came to fruition.
I think one for me, small vehicle wise, I think one for me would be the Imperial Patrol Speeder from Solo. Just going back to your point, James, there, I think that'd be a really good one to do.
I mean, they gave us the Trooper, didn't they? So
yeah, exactly. So Straight Out of Corazon has asked, what is the price point? I believe the press release indicated, well, it was in dollars, so take from that what you will, but it was $59.99, which I think is pretty decent, to be fair, considering what you're getting with regards to the packaging and the overall presentation of it, and then the stuff inside the box as well. Yeah, I'm more than happy with that price point. I think that's really good. So yeah, I am very much happy with that. Very much happy with that. Galaxy-wide Trader Black Series, the Royal Starship. Yeah, and you'd need a mortgage for that, I think. I'm probably planning permission as well to build an extension on your house. But
fuck planning permission. They can park it in my neighbour's garden. They don't need it.
Yeah, if you've got a drive, you're fine. Don't worry about that. Sea Lion mentions Stap. That'd be a really good shout as well. And in a sneak preview box.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Good memories of that one. Good memories of that one. Really love that.
Do you know what I'm surprised we haven't seen yet?
Go on.
Cobb Vamp Speeder.
That would be another good shout as well.
That feels like quite an easy one for them to do. But
yeah, I think like James said, it'd be really good if this kickstarts like a resurgence in small scale Black Series vehicles.
I think what was the last one was the Snow Speeder, wasn't it? So that kind of screwed the pooch because they lost money on it. There it is.
There it is. Awkwardly on my shelf.
Oof.
because I don't really know where to put it.
I don't think we can really call it small scale, though.
It's not small scale at all. It's just massive. It's huge.
Crash
Yeah,
is
and
just pointed.
some days do you feel like you can just take on the whole empire yourself?
I wish I could. I wish I could. Love bashing a bit of the fash.
Nice. Nice.
Go on, get me mug off main screen. Come on.
I've got you on because I thought you were going to show it for a little bit longer, and I'm uploading slides.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone. I reviewed this on my YouTube channel. You should go watch the review on my YouTube channel.
Just keep it on camera a little bit longer, love, yeah.
I will do. Oh, yeah. Look at that toy that you will struggle to find online.
Look at the skunk port on that thing.
Look at the boys in there. Oh, lovely. My arm's getting tired. Can I put it down now?
Yeah.
That's your fault for rubbing your Monday earlier on.
Oops, we've took him out.
Hey, up.
There we go.
That was X-rated content.
That's what you get for rubbing the Monday on the camera, mate.
Good grief.
It don't fly, you dirty boy.
It flies now.
It flies now. Going back to Black Series reveals from over the past few days, we've got a little army builder for you. I think there's a little bit of discourse to be mentioned around this. Where do you guys stand on this one in terms of thoughts? Like, because this one got pipelined, I think, last time we got together, and I was all for it, and I still am all for it. I'm not going to pick it up just because I have one of each of these figures already, and there's nothing really different enough about them to warrant another purchase. But the idea I appreciate, the overall execution doesn't leave things to be desired, but I think there are other things that could have been done. What do you think?
Alternative head sculpts.
Yeah.
That's the main thing for me.
I would have done a different colour for the Rebel Trooper.
Oh, red.
Red or beige, whichever. But then I guess it's not an army builder because it'd be Captain Antilles, wouldn't it? So.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't see why
What-
you
what-
need a data pad either, like the data card. Is that just
Yeah. I
Purchase
saw
or
a couple
pass,
of
then?
the pass.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm not gonna.
It's a no-brainer for me.
It's not a pass entirely. It would have definitely been better if the Rebel Trooper was a little bit different. If it had a different set of heads that you could interchange, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Two or
always-
three different
I'm
ones would have been good.
I'm always for a Stormtrooper. I'm always in for a Stormtrooper, but maybe could have given.
And that's
me
it
some
as well,
blasters.
isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that Stormtrooper sculpt as well is like at this point it's pretty timeless. Like I think it's going to be a long way off before that sculpt and that character gets perfected.
Yeah.
You know, that's as good as it comes. So
I would have at least put the blaster holster on his belt.
yeah, I was thinking that because I think they've gone the
Just to
extra
make
mile
it
to take.
accurate.
Yeah, because they've gone the extra mile to take the attachment off the side of the barrel, haven't they? On the
No.
on the
No, mate.
oh no, fuck.
Yeah, still got the flashlight on.
Oh, Christ. Well, do you know what? Oh, no, because it says A New Hope on the box. Bollocks. I was going to say... yeah, I was going to say, oh, it's fine, because at least it says,
Well,
it doesn't say A New Hope. Yeah, it's not from A New Hope, because the flashlight is from Rogue One. But there we go. Yeah,
Well,
it's...
I guess the box is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like the little budget packaging that we're getting for them as well, because it lowers that price point as well. And I think the Rebel Fleet Troop has been one over the past few months, or well, over the past few years, because it's been available for a while, hasn't it? Where the secondary market value's gone up quite a bit on it. So it's good that it's coming out in this sort of format. You know, it's getting a reissue in an army builder set, which I'm really liking from Hasbro as well. I've yet to pick up the clone and the battle droid, but yeah, I'm liking the format.
The Fleet Trooper's a nice figure anyway. I think that's the first one they gave butterfly joints to as well back in the day. So
yeah, definitely.
It's not like you're getting two half-arsed figures. For people that haven't got... It's not really a case of for people that haven't got a Stormtrooper yet. If they haven't got the Rebel Trooper, then I can see 90% of collectors buying this, because best way to do it.
I think this is one of those though where in a bizarre turn of events, I kind of have to side with the TVC collectors on this one, because for the simple reason being that if you picked up 6-7 of these sets, you're going to fill out your Tantive V4 playset. I know they did the army builder packs for the Stormtroopers and the Rebel Fleet Troopers before, but the Rebel Fleet Trooper set was quite specific in the sense that you got Antilles in it, who isn't an army builder because he's character specific. So I think releasing a 2-pack for the TVC line would have been really good for that purpose. Just to, you know, if there was a Black Series Tantive V4 playset coming, you know, all for it. And I can appreciate it even more, but I think this makes a little bit more sense for TVC collectors than it does for those of us who collect the superior scale. I said it.
I have to agree with you, to be honest, mate.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
But you've just got me questioning the format of the TVC version. Why is it a bloody 4-pack? Why can they not just do 2 generic figures like these in a 2-pack and then just allow people to buy as many as they want? Or, you know, limit it for so many weeks first and then open the floor up to, let's say, take it from a 2 per customer to an 8 per customer, whatever it might be.
Definitely. I mean, Crash has made a very, very good point in the comments that he keeps hammering home the point that seeing this makes me wish we got the rest of Scar Squad instead, which is a really good point. And and again, it plays into that formatting of the multi-packs in the sense that, you know, the TVC 4-packs make more sense. The TVC 4-packs make more sense for characters such as the Bad Batch group or Scar Squad, you know, in this format. As Crash says, Scar Squad would be a great one to chuck out by releasing them in a 2-pack. I mean, I think that might necessarily be better served in the open window 2-packs, just because some of those characters are a little bit more unique than just generic army builders. But I appreciate the point in terms of the multi-packs coming out. That definitely makes sense. Begun the scale war has. It's never going away. It's never going away. But yeah, it's one of those. It was nice to see it, but it was a shame that it wasn't just that little bit more than we were maybe expecting. But be that as it may, it is what it is. Moving swiftly on throughout the Black Series, we have, going back to the Acolyte discourse we had earlier on, we have a Black Series helmet for the Stranger. Now, this one surprised me, because I saw this before I watched the episode, and it's one of those. This falls into the category for me of the Moff Gideon helmet, in the sense that I don't really. It's cool, and I think this arguably, in my opinion at least, looks cooler than the Moff Gideon helmet.
Yeah.
But I don't need it. I don't need it just yet, you know. But what did really take me by surprise with this one, like I said, because I saw the product reveal before I saw the episode, I didn't realise it was gold. I thought from the images that we'd seen of it so far, I thought it was a black helmet.
That's it.
The colour on it, really, I was like, that's actually quite cool.
I think it's 50-50. I think Hasbro's render's incredibly brightly lit, and there's obviously a large amount of dark lighting on the show. I bet when we actually see because I don't think these are real product images.
No, they're definitely.
I think when we see it in hand, it might be a touch darker in tone. It was like the repainted Boba Fett helmet for the Mandalorian. Those colours were way off on the render compared to what we actually got.
Yeah.
But I don't care whether it's too early to say it. I think the character is fucking sick, and I would like proudly display a helmet for him. I like the actor that plays him. He was in a show called The Good Place, if either of you guys have watched that, and he's got such fucking range. And what kills this for me is health and safety. Because I'm sorry, Hasbro, but nobody's running around wearing these fucking things, and he doesn't have great big eye holes like that on the show. So you fucked it there, man. Just.
No,
and half the people that probably put it on and run around in it probably deserve to be knocked out anyway.
To that point, though, James, it is quite surprising how many cosplayers you see using the Black Series helmets for part of their costume. So I do get that. I do get the aesthetic changes to it just for that reason. I think that's probably one of the drivers for Black Series, is the fact, for Black Series helmets at least, is that, you know, Hasbro are taking into consideration the fact that people are wearing these at cons. But I get what you're saying from an aesthetic point of view. Doesn't necessarily fit the bill, but no, I like it. It's really cool. It's really cool.
Maybe if they did an interchangeable visor piece for play and display.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Yeah,
because you can see how it's all sort of segregated into sections.
Yeah, I think it's for me. Again, it goes back to the talk around the Moff Gideon helmet. I think, Moff Gideon in the armor in Mandalorian looked cool. The Stranger and Kimir's character in the Acolyte is cool, but I don't want to dedicate that much space in my collection to this one piece. And like Georgios has said in the comments, I can't wait for a figure. Yeah. Black Series figure of the Stranger. 100%. I'll have it. Instant.
Oh yeah. Going back to Moff Gideon, we still haven't. At least, I mean, I may have slept a few times since, but I don't even think we've pipelined a Black Series figure of him in that armor yet. If they've got the assets to make the helmet, they've got the assets to make a figure of him. So why aren't show us both at the same bloody time?
That's it.
And like Sea Lion says as well, we're still waiting on that Django helmet. I think that's the one that's the biggest surprise that they haven't done. You know, we're sat there acting flabbergasted when Hasbro drop a Sith speeder with Darth Maul into the Black Series, but then and that takes us by surprise and we're loving it. But then we're still sat here thinking, how the hell have they not made Jango Fett's helmet yet? They've got the tooling for it. Do it.
Then again,
please don't repaint Boba's. Please don't repaint Boba's, because the amount of idiots that came out moaning about the inaccuracies of the Rex helmet for all of what it fucking was, it's not worth Instagram just being taken over by the absolute armor snobs that it's full of. Please just invest the money properly.
I reckon they'll do Django's helmet next year. Just because they're re-releasing Bounty Hunter, aren't they?
Clones,
yeah.
And and Attack of the
Isn't it 20th Attack of the Clones, or am I failing at fucking maths as well as life?
No, you're wrong.
It's Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. I was just about to say we're both wrong, because I was agreeing with Dan on the basis that it's the anniversary next year for Attack of the Clones, but that's me just because it's Phantom Menace this year. I'm automatically thinking.
Yeah. I was saying Bounty Hunter, the video game, because it's getting re-released on Switch.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
maybe if they delay it, I don't know. I can see them doing it. Yeah.
All those Acolyte sweats have been waiting for this moment for us to get something wrong, lads.
Oh!
They're going, things not right, they're not right, they're going wrong.
Big fan. I bet you think Anakin blew up the Death Star as well. But no, like Seth says, I mean, going back to that point about Django, Black Series Django is well overdue as well. So hopefully we see that somewhere down the line. But
balance the scales and all that.
No, cool release. I'm excited for those that are excited for it. We'll just say that. Again, moving throughout the Black Series reveals. These are, again, we haven't got together for a stream in a couple of weeks, so you know, these are not old news, but they were revealed a couple of weeks back. We have the Mandalorian Shriek-Hawks. The first of which is a single pack, and again, Blue Mando burnout's kicking in, but of the Blue Mandos that have been released so far, I think this is probably one of the better ones.
A bit of green and brown there. It's so nice. They've mixed it up slightly. Slightly.
Yeah, I like it very much. I want it.
Yes, me too. I think it's one of those as well. I'm like, I appreciate the unnamed characters that we get in the Black Series, because I don't think it happens often enough. I was overjoyed when we got the Imperial Officer from Andor, you know? So, like, getting unnamed characters just to flesh out those scenes and, you know, world build is really good to see. Really, really good to see. So, yeah, really cool.
For a civilization that's supposedly all but extinct, fuck me, there's plenty of Mandalorians on my shelf.
Absolutely. Seconded. Sea Lion's just dropped. Is the vintage Mando Judge out yet? That's the one I want. I think it is. I think it is finally out. I'm sure it's available at Star Action Figures, or it's due to come in very, very soon. But I agree, it's one that I want. Again, it's one that I got to see in person, opened up at MCM, and it's just beautiful. And I don't say that very often about TVC figures. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But it is nice. It's a really, really cool figure. So really excited for that one as well. But yeah, in terms of Mandalorian Shriek-Hawks, we've got the single pack, but the one I'm most excited for, don't know about you two, but it's the 2-pack.
Oh yeah.
The male and female Shriek-Hawk, which I think looks really good. Like this is good. Again, it goes back to that, you know, unnamed. I'll not say army builder, because I guess their outfits are specific to whoever's wearing them, but it's just a generic 2-pack of not troopers, but you get where I'm going with it. But I really like the designs of these two, especially the male one with the brown armor and stuff, because that armor design is really, really different, and I'm really like it. There's something unique about it. Certainly does.
It's very heavy Mando in design. Yeah.
That was my first thought, actually, that maybe this recycles parts from Paz Vizsla, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's a new overlay piece. I think all of them are using the which one is it? It's the Mandalorian Fleet Commander body from last November, and then they just overlay new pieces, which is great. It's a great way of engineering it.
Yeah, definitely.
You can actually see all these on screen as well at some point, which is where I like. They haven't just gone and made up random ones or repainted close approximations. If you look hard enough, you can find them.
That's the thing as well. I mean, like one of the reasons why I know there are a lot of people out there that are getting sort of the Mandalorian burnout, which I totally appreciate. But for me, one of the things that I really like about sets like this is that it throws me back into my golden era of Star Wars collecting, which is the 30th anniversary collection from 2007. And there was a pretty Mandalorian heavy focus then, when we had the Entertainment Earth packs with the Mandos and the Republic Commandos and all that sort of stuff. And going back to your point, James, what you said about, you know, they're not just random repaints. Even if they were, I wouldn't be mad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I like it. I like the diversity. I like the variety, and it's cool to see. But yeah, the fact that they are seen on screen is definitely a bonus. But no, I'm really liking them. Really liking them. Sea Lion, once again, the fact that you get a male and female Mando too is really good. We need a generic army builder female Mando figure. We certainly do. I mean, we're getting one, I think, to accompany the Mando Privateer that's coming out.
Yeah.
I think there is a female version of this, or not a female version of this, but a female counterpart to this.
Sorry, guys.
Who's fucking pod racing?
Darth Maul's just zipped by on his speeder.
He actually has. Flipping heck.
Ben Quadranero's having a bit of trouble again.
But no, going back to Sea Lion's point, I think a really good female Mando to get into the line would be the Covert, the Mandalorian Covert, that I think they did a Funko Pop for way back when Mandalorian first came out. It's like a green and white.
Oh yeah.
That'd be really cool to see. And then on the subject of multi-packs, Collector Cove would love to get a 2 to 3 pack of Praetorian Guards from Mando Season 3. Yeah, that's overdue. Yeah, I know it's not been that long, but it's overdue. We need those. We need the Imperial Mandalorian Commandos. Bring them on. Bring them on. Need it.
If you know where to look on Instagram, there's been some cheeky leaks.
Bloody hell, Richard.
Oh, hey up.
Richard, mate, have you got money to burn? Get buying figures. Stop giving it to us.
Yeah.
Richard has dropped another super chat, which again, 100% appreciate, mate. It's amazing. It's not something that's ever, like I said, it's not something that's ever happened on the channel before. But when it does, I just want to point out, stuff like this will go a long way in terms of keeping that content coming. It won't be frittled away, We won't be good. The three of us won't be off out on the lash next week, spending it on Corelli Nail, mate. But no, I really appreciate it. But Richard's just pointed out, just bought Starkiller based on your review, and because I loved Force Unleashed. Cheers, mate. And that's a great figure as well. Have you done Cal Kestis Jedi Survivor yet? I have already ordered him. Yeah, he's actually on my list, because what I'm doing at the minute with regards to my reviews is I've got a backlog. So there's a ton of stuff that I've picked up while I've been away from YouTube that I never got around to reviewing. And Cal Kestis, alongside some other Gaming Greats figures as well, is actually on the list. So yeah, it's on the way, Richard. Even more so now, thanks to that super chat, mate. That definitely warrants a review more than anything. So yeah, cheers to that, Richard. Like I said, goes a real long way, and relay means a lot. So yeah. That's the Mando Shriekhawks. What about you guys? Are you going to grab this one? Are you going to grab the three? Are you going to get the lot? Are you going to get all three of them?
All of them, yeah.
All of them.
I think it will depend what else Hasbro releases. But if I do happen...
This is coming from the guy who's bought a black Boba Fett, so don't you lie to me, Mr. East 1000.
I feel attacked. Yes, you are right.
Should.
I will probably, if I see
have
this
to shamefully take Dan's side.
If I see it in Spin Planet, I'll probably end up getting it.
Do you know what? To be fair, if it was there for 15 quid, like Old Master Maul is, then I'm probably going to get it myself. So.
Oh, so it's not just me that's seen that then? Isn't that a fucking weird thing?
Yeah,
isn't it? It's very weird.
Yeah, I'm just going completely off subject, chaps, but Dan, did they have a lot in Forbidden Planet when you went in the other day?
I think they had 2.
Ah, right, okay.
I think he might still be there. He might still be there.
I might pop in and get one at some point then.
I might pop in tomorrow. I'll keep it out for you. But
yeah, give us a shout, because if they've got one, grab us one and
I'll see what I can do for you, mate.
Yeah, sorted.
If you can't get one, give us a shout. I'll see if mine's got one for you.
Nice one.
Shout.
Oh yeah, there you go. See, it's not just. It's.
There you go. Good old Roger.
Yeah.
See what makes the dream work.
And Steve, I can get you 30% off.
Oh, there we go then. Sod off, Dan, I don't need you no more.
No, that's alright. That saves me money so I can buy more figures. I'm in severe credit card debt.
Brilliant. Aren't we all, mate?
If you want one, Steve, I can get you one tomorrow.
Yeah, nice one. I might take you up on that.
Yeah. Roger, if you're listening, my mate, stick one aside for us.
Roger.
Sorry.
That's literally his nickname on my Facebook chat.
Brilliant. Moving swiftly on, because I'm conscious of time, but moving on throughout the Black Series line and the reveals that we've had. we're just going to glaze over these because they're quite honestly not for me or any of us. But we're getting more
I forgot about
holocoms.
these.
Hey up now. I want the Ezra holocron.
Yeah, I pre-ordered that one.
Do you know what? It's the one that makes sense.
Yep.
Isn't it?
100%.
So I get it. I don't want it. I think the only one that I've really been bothered about is the Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think that's one of the main things that we mentioned about the Holocom line in the first place when it was first announced, is that the figure choices originally didn't make sense. May from the Acolyte, I'm not entirely sure why. But Ezra certainly makes sense. I'm honestly quite surprised we didn't get this version before we got his sort of
Me too.
in the flesh appearance, if that makes any sense. I'm surprised we didn't get that one first. But yeah, I'm all for that. Whether I pick it up or not remains to be seen, but I get the logic behind it, and I'm happy for those that want it. Sea Lion, still no Palpatine. Absolutely. Needs to happen. I think the likelihood of getting that one is probably higher now that we've got the Revenge of the Sith Palpatine on the way. Just because that figure uses a lot more plastic than the previous version.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to lean into the ability to do it as a holocom. If Hasbro are watching, once again, I don't charge for my ideas. So just keep sending me more stuff like that, and I'll be happy.
I do, and your bill's still unpaid. Sort it out.
I'm just happy to buy the figures.
If they give us the Return of the Jedi Palpatine now as a hologram and not the Revenge of the Sith one, that's going to be a kick in the bollocks.
Yeah. I mean, again, like I said, just moving swiftly through these. We've got another holocom for the Acolyte. That's Osha. Again, nothing against the show, nothing against the characters. We've already gone over that. But for me, there's no. I don't think anybody's going to be in an immediate rush to go out and grab Osha and May in holocom form. You know, I think they're going to want the figures that are coming out of their in person, shall we say, appearances in the flesh, in the plastic, whatever you want to call it. You know, all for that, but I just don't think anybody's in a rush to grab the holocom versions. I mean, at this point, Richard is literally throwing his money away. So he's clearly not planning on spending it on holocom figures. But bloody hell, mate, once again, another super chat dropped in. Richard, you're showing everyone in the chat up at this point. But thank you, mate. Again, it is very, very much appreciated. And that's, I think, to be fair, part of Richard's super chat has just paid for that old master mold. So there we go. There you go, mate. You've contributed to the collection indirectly. So nice one. Thank you very, very much. But yeah, in addition to the holocom Osha, we've also got a retool, a repack, redo of Shin Hati.
A cloaking of Shin Hati.
It's a cloaking device. I'm personally happy about this because I missed out on Balin and I missed out on Shin. Right, so and I think this is how they should have been revealed in the first place. So I'm buzzing about this. Really, really happy. I don't think we touched. I can't remember whether we did a stream when Balin got revealed, but there's a Balin skull coming as well that's got the cloak and stuff like that. Hopefully, he's been heightened. Just to address that error as well. Probably not. James is shaking his head.
No, from where I've heard, it's no orange lightsabers and no height differences because they planned these before they even did that second run in the main line.
Wow. Okay then. Fair enough.
Sorry to disappoint you.
Yeah, I mean they were sought after figures. I mean they pretty much sold out straight away when they first got brought out. God, I'm sweating. And yeah, it's good to see that that they've seen the error of their ways and that they're going to bring them back out again. So yeah, I'm happy about this one. James, I'm guessing this is probably a skip for you, or has that road you in?
No, I'm sorted with the ones that I've got now. I did the hype mod on Balin, and I've just finally got some proper orange lightsaber blades for them. There's a guy on Etsy called Cubic 3D Prints that does like every lightsaber you could imagine. Like 3D prints the color, does some hilts. Fucking mint. Shipping's a bit of a swine because it's America, but
there was
it's good stuff.
I forget the name of, and I feel awful, but because he sorted me out with a couple of samples when he first started doing them. But there was a guy on Instagram who, around the time of The Mandalorian coming out, started putting out third-party soft goods for figures. He doesn't seem to be as present on Instagram anymore. But
You're on about Mudhorn Customs.
Yeah, but there's Mudhorn Crafts, isn't there?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, there's Mudhorn Crafts, but yeah, I think it is. I'm sure it was Mudhorn, but I'm not entirely sure. But he doesn't seem to be as active as he was at the start of sort of 2020. But he was putting out some really, really quality stuff, and that was UK based as well, because he was selling on eBay. And after he sent a couple of samples out, I sorted myself out with a non-wired cape for my initial Beskar Mando, and the quality on those capes were really, really good. So I think it's one of those, you know, if you don't want this figure, you don't want to drop the full RRP of a Black Series, a third-party soft goods robe's probably going to be cheap enough to source. But again, for those that missed the first release, this is nice to see. I'm there for it. So yeah, happy about it. Delving into the realm of 3 3/4 inch, back to the Acolyte as well. We have a TVC rendition of Osha Anastasia, and again, I only dabble in TVC these days, as I'm sure you guys do as well. But this one makes sense to have, just because I thought, you know, those initial 2 figures that we were getting from the Acolyte for TVC, they looked a bit lonely. So it's nice to see that May's going to get her sister in 3 3/4 inch. I think the argument to be had here is just the fact that Hunter's still on his own from the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
You know, that's something that needs to be addressed, I think, on Hasbro's end. Maybe they've got plans to, maybe they haven't, but yeah, that's my thoughts on it as well. I'm not going to pick this figure up. Probably get the Black Series one, but likely going to leave this one behind. But again, excited for those that want it. What about you guys? TVC, I know it doesn't really get you going these days, so.
Yeah, waiting for the Black Series. Oh man, after watching episode 5, give me them bloody figures now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so excited for that wave. I think somebody made a comment earlier asking if we were getting the Acolyte Black Series. I'm all over them like fucking rash.
Yeah.
Like, as the earliest opportunity I get to buy them, I will. Like, I've got them pre-ordered, but if somebody says we've got them in stock now, I'll be like, here's my money. It's like Instagram reel. There's my card.
Definitely. I mean, Richard's right there as well. I think he's reading the room. Jacinto. Is it Jacinto? I apologize for butchering the name because I'm rubbish at it. But yeah, the stranger that we saw in the last episode, I think that needs to be a figure. I think that's probably coming up next. I think the next round of reveals that Hasbro drop, I wouldn't be surprised to see that one. Hope they do a removable helmet, but not getting my hopes up.
I hope they do Basil.
Yeah,
man.
Give me Basil.
Yeah, Basil from Look. Are you just going back to the Acolyte discourse? Are you guys a little bit suspicious of Basil after that last episode? Because I don't know whether it's just me, but the way he went running onto that ship, he looked like he were up to something.
I think he knows that that's not Osha, because he's got a strong sense of smell. Like, he can smell the difference, and I guess her scent is on that little piece of the droid he picked up. That's my that's where I took from
That's
it.
what I think.
He's just loving life, though, isn't he? He's in his own fucking world, having fun. We're running around the forest. He don't fucking care that they're there looking for Kalnaka, does he? He's just great.
A little beaver boy.
Just on a small tangent, if you don't mind, you guys know my affinity for Nubs from Young Jedi Adventures. I saw something so funny the other day. It was just a random Facebook group suggestion, and it was simply a post that said if Nubs was in episode 5, that Sith would have got fucking banged out.
Yeah, I saw that.
Hard to argue.
Do continue.
Hard to argue, to be fair. I mean, yeah, like Galactica holding out for a younger Ki-Adi-Mundi, Kalnaka, and the Sith Warrior, or the Keldor Jedi. Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm loving about the Acolyte as well. And going back to what we were saying at the beginning of the stream, I'm struggling to see the hate because there's so many cool character designs. Like, this is opening up the floor for, you can make the argument for, well, we've been waiting for other characters over these characters for longer, but when the designs are so good, you don't really mind. And I think there's so many cool ones coming out of Acolyte that, I think if they skipped the queue and came out first, I'd be pretty happy, to be fair.
Yeah, if they do the Zygarian Jedi.
Oh yeah, I was so pleased to see that first live action version.
Cool.
Can I just say, since you're on about Ki-Adi-Mundi again, he really is the most important Jedi today, isn't he?
Topic of conversation.
The only
He does seem to pop up.
the only problem I got with them using him for the discourse that it's all caused, as unwarranted as it is, and the fact that Kaldor was not Plo Koon, for what he did in that episode, for what he had to say, the fact that Plo Koon would have made sense, and the fact that we could have had him voiced in live action by James Arnold Taylor.
Oh God!
I would have preferred that, perhaps.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It was one of those for me because when I saw him, I thought. Usually, moments like that. I mean, Dan can attest to this when we watched episode 5 of Ahsoka together. Yeah. Moments like that, I'll dive off the fucking sofa. But I kind of sat there when I saw him, and I tempered my expectations a little bit because I was like, "Nah, original story, original characters. It does look like him, but I don't think it is. So maybe it's just the same species." And I was very relaxed about it. I was very calm. And then when I went online the next day and I saw all the discourse surrounding it, I was like, fucking hell, okay, Monday.
Well, that's the thing that's mad. Like, if no one looked at the end credits, that would have been the reaction. It's like, oh, that could be Ki-Adi-Mundi. It might not be. Whatever. It's a glup shito. It's fine.
I just didn't want to be the one that just instantly went to it and said, oh yeah, it's definitely him. Because like I said, I mean, I fell into the trap, not assuming that he would have been alive at that point. I'm guilty. Got pissed off about his birthday, but it's I don't know, it's cool. I like it. And I also like this Ursha figure from the Black Series. Moving back onto the Black Series figures. Love the accessories with this one. I'm a fan.
Definitely
I'm a fan.
Yeah, I like the little droid. Can't remember its name.
Pip.
Love
Pip.
I like it. Yeah,
it's a cool figure. Lots of accessories, which is nice to see. Because I think it's one of those, like, nothing against the character, nothing against the design, but I think it is one of those Rose Tico moments in the sense that a lot of casual collectors will probably see this and go, it's just a girl in a green jumpsuit.
Yeah.
I get that. I do get that. They don't, characters like this, Rebels and all that sort of stuff don't always make for the best action figures and the most exciting action figures. I understand that. But no, I like all the accessories that come with this one, and the fact that the the line is getting fleshed out with lots of different characters as well. Like, she's not going to be on her own. You've got May, and you've got some of the Jedi to display her with. It's cool. It's cool. I just hope we get more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something really simple about this figure as well, what I really like, is the fact that you can like store all her accessories in different places, so Pip actually sits in the pouch, and that's really, it's not like a big thing, but for a figure like that, it just makes it a bit more interesting.
Bloody hell, Steve, you might want to look at the chat a minute.
I think that just explains why. Richard, you've been a scholar and a gentleman, mate. Richard is heading off now. Too much booze, but really love this evening, being great fun. Thank you, mate. Thank you for diving in and joining us, and thank you so much for all your super chats. I mean, it could have been worse, mate. You could have been dropping, drunken donations to eBay sellers. So, it's appreciated, mate. It really is. Thank you for, like I said, for dropping in and for your unwavering generosity, mate. It has not gone unnoticed, and it has not gone unappreciated. So from all of us, I think, cheers for your interactions as well. Have been absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, I think you've made some friends in the chat as well. They're all sorry to see you go. So hope you can join us for the next one, pal. Been good to have you.
See it.
Been good to have you. Moving on through product reveals. What else have we got? We'll keep the Acolyte train rolling, because I think the final product reveal that I want to touch base on, I think, is something that, even though we're not primarily TVC collectors, is something that needs to be discussed, and it's probably going to be something that gets discussed at length. So we'll just whiz through these next few products, or this next product, just because I know that it also has its detractors. But we are indeed getting another retro collection box set. I'll let you guys tackle your thoughts on this first, because the retro collection has been quite relevant on my channel recently. So I'll talk about it in a moment. Where do you guys stand on this one? How do you feel about it? So I know, Dan, you've sort of dabbled with retro with one or two. James, I don't know whether this is your bag, so I'm keen to get your thoughts on not just this box set in particular, but the line in general, because I've sort of found a new love for it. What about you?
I don't really care. In the nicest way possible. I couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's fine. Do you know what? It's refreshing to get that perspective from one of you two, because I think so often on these streams we sit there and go, "Oh, I love that. Oh, I want that." So to get you going, I don't give a shit. It's good. It's good.
It's like fantastic. I want a bone in the 70s though, so it's in a technically my pickle.
Yeah, no, I appreciate
if it's up your street, brilliant, crack on, buy it. But I don't know, wasting my energy thinking about it if I'm not going to buy it, unless it pisses me off. So, and it doesn't, to each their own and all that.
Yeah.
They look all right.
Sound, I like it.
I'd be more on board if I knew that the line was not dead in the water
On its arse.
to be at this point. I don't know. The box set vibe for this, at least, works pretty well. I would have liked to have seen them done one for Andor. That would have been
That's a really good shout. Yeah, we didn't get one. Yeah, I'm really shocked at that, actually, now you mention it. I didn't even give that a second thought.
Yeah, it would have been good to have an Andor one. Like, in this style, I would have lapped that up. Lapped it up.
Yeah.
But no. It's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
What it is, but not enough knowing that this is it. This is it. That's all we're getting.
Yeah, that's
you
fair.
need that hook for me.
I think on behalf of TVC collectors, I think it's pretty fucking criminal that with like the last however many releases of retro, there are more retro characters for an IP than there is actual vintage collection versions of the figures.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the likelihood of TVC seeing half of this set, it's not looking good, is it? Going off what we've seen over the last 2 years.
Yeah. No,
So,
I completely agree with that
so-
sentiment, James, as well. And to be honest, it's a surprise to see this, like you said, to see this many characters from the show before their vintage collection counterparts. It's a surprise that they went this route with it rather than with vintage collection figures, just based on previous sales history. Now, I know for a fact the Phantom Menace box set went down really, really well. I've heard it from some of my contacts in the industry, shall we say, that has been a massive seller, a huge seller. It's been incredibly popular.
It's been
that
huge.
popular. It's been that popular. Even I bought it and I reviewed it on the channel, which you can check out if you haven't done so already. And it's an amazing set and it's really good. And that's one of the things that box set alone got me excited about the retro collection again. And when this got revealed, I was like, do you know what? I'm probably going to end up buying that. I think for me, it would be more of a guaranteed purchase if it was and I hate to say it because I'm falling into that bracket, but if it was a box set of the Jedi characters from the show, I get what they've gone for. They've gone for an assortment and they've gone for a mixture. You know, you've got a couple of villains, you've got a couple of sort of I'll not say non-action based characters in Mother Anasea, but you know, someone who, you know, isn't a pew pew or a hum hum kind of character. So I get that they've gone for a mixture, but for me, I'd have been all over this if this was Kelnaka, if it was Jeke, if it was Yord, if it was Sol, if it was May, if it was May, and if it was Kelnaka or Indara, you know. But for me, it's just that it's one of those where it's like, well, yeah, there's a couple of it. This is a little bit like the prequel retro sets for me, in the sense that there's figures from it that I want, but not enough to make it an instant buy. Do you know what I mean? So, like I said, I'm just conscious of time and the fact that people are dropping out now that we're talking about the retro collection. So we'll move on. But in this set, we do have Sol, of course. We also have Jeke and Yord, like I said.
Yord Horde.
Yord Horde. R.I.P. Spoiler alert. That poor lad's neck.
Spinal Yord.
That poor lad's neck. That shocked me, to be honest. Like the deaths in that episode. I was like, this is not for children.
Pretty high body count for a Star Wars show, I think.
It was just mental. I was like,
ruthless.
it was like Jeke's death was pretty brutal. Yord's death was incredibly brutal. And the unnamed Jedi, they've probably got names, but I can't remember them. The double penetration.
Oh yeah, that probably wasn't the best reaction give to that, was it? Yeah,
I can't think of a better word.
That's what I was doing.
Stop rubbing the Monday. God.
Do you reckon Jedi just walk past him and slap his head for shits and giggles?
Definitely.
I'll give you 10 credits if you can hit the top.
Throwing rings on it. Brilliant. But yeah, like I said, there's not enough going on. I'm excited for it, and I was like, oh, this is cool. After seeing this, after I'd got the Phantom Menace set, but yeah, like I said, I'm not in an immediate rush to go out and get it. I think one thing that I want to mention though is that I think Mother Anasea is possibly the most retro figure that's been revealed for a while, to be fair. I don't know, there's just something about the vibe of that character and her design and the way that she looks that I could have seen that coming out in the 70s and 80s. that's the Mon Mothma of the set. Do you know what I mean? That's the figure that stands there and does nothing, but in the best way, as it relates to the retro line and the vintage style. So it's one of those, like, I get it and I appreciate it, but yeah, yeah, there's less that I want than I want from this one. So it remains to be seen whether I pick it up. But yeah, cool nonetheless. That's going to bring us circling in to our final product reveal of the evening. And again, I'm conscious of time, so I don't want to spend too long on it. But I realise it's a pretty girthy product to get through. So, HasLabs. We've had a HasLab. We've got the reveal. The HasLab has been officially revealed, not leaked like it cheekily was before it was officially announced. But we are getting the Mos Eisley Cantina. Now, I am incredibly excited that this is happening, right? And that can't be understated. I am very, very excited, purely because when I 15 years ago, I dabbled in the realm of dioramas and, you know, custom figures like Dan has and all that sort of stuff. And the Mos Eisley Cantina, or a variation of it, was one of the first dioramas that I ever put together. And so to see finally a official Hasbro release of the Mos Eisley Cantina that's not a bar piece, that's not a bar stool, that's not a table, that's not a seat, but to actually have a full-blown cantina is incredibly exciting. I think it has its flaws.
It doesn't have its flaws.
That is possibly quite honestly one of the wittiest and smartest comments anyone has ever made.
That really raised the roof.
Well, I'm just gonna let you guys take this now because you're just outwitting me and you're outshining me with the charm. It's brilliant. But no, you're right, and that's the thing. That's one of my issues with this, is that it looks good, and there's a lot more pros than cons to this one. But again, for me, it's just one of those where I don't know. I want to love it. I really, really, really want to love it. And I must admit, the video that Hasbro put out recently, where they broke it down and they showed you it in modular pieces, and they showed you how you could possibly display it because that's the one thing that stood out to me about that video, is that they showed you how to display it if you've got a Billy bookcase. Because let's face it, at this point, what Star Wars collector, what toy collector doesn't have a Billy bookcase or a Detolf cabinet? You know, so to be able to show that, for me, that was like, they really are now starting to take into consideration that collector aspect, and I appreciate that. I can't stress that enough. I can't, you know, that is so appreciated. But for me, and I think, and I don't want to slam this because it's not, it's great. The fact that we're finally getting one is just absolutely amazing. But I echo the sentiments of Sea Lion Studios here, where he says, personally, I don't think the Cantina is HasLab worthy. I would have preferred something like maybe a Naboo Royal Starship or a Rebel Transport or an Acclamator Assault Ship. And I 100% agree. And this is just my preference. This is not a knock on Hasbro's efforts. This is not a knock on this product. This is not me slagging it off. And it's also not me being a shill, because I'm not sitting here saying it's perfect, spend your money on it. Because if you don't think it's worth it, don't. But I 100% back up and agree with Sea Lion Studios' points, because I don't feel that this is HasLab worthy either. The fact that it is modular, and the fact that it is a lot of hollow plastic, for me, is the main kicker of probably why I won't pick this up, because it's not complete enough. if that makes any sense.
Oh,
I think as it pertains to HasLabs, I think they are better reserved for vehicles, because so far Hasbro have done a better job with the vehicles than they have with the playsets. And for me, and we've touched on this in the chat that we have going on for these streams, that personally I don't see enough of a difference between this and the Boba Fett Throne Room set that came out, which was Pulse exclusive. It had a higher price point, but it was generally available. It didn't need backers. And I know it only came with one figure, and there's probably going to be other tiers available with this, and I appreciate that. But the playset as a whole, I don't see enough of a difference between the value and the cost and the content that you're getting with the Boba Fett Throne Room that you're getting with this. So for me, 100% agree with Sea Lion Studios that this is not a HasLab. If it had a flaw, if it was one solid playset, yeah, fair enough. You could maybe disconnect pieces. If it had a flaw that it all plugged into, and had a roof or had all these other aspects to it, maybe I could sort of understand it. But for me, I think the key thing for me is it's a lot of hollow plastic, and don't get me wrong, we'll dive into it with some of these slides, and then I'm going to let you guys, no pun intended, take the floor. But it's incredibly detailed, it's incredibly detailed, and that can't be understated either. For me, it is hollow plastic. But the detail that's in that plastic is brilliant. I mean, such as this, where the entrance with the droid detector and the seats at the top of the stairs where Luke and Obi-Wan and the droids enter. It is for the most part so faithful to what we see on screen, and that is one of the things that I absolutely love about it. And the detail. I mean, the bar is so well done. But I'm just not. I can't throw down that amount of cash for this when. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. I don't want to dick on it. I don't want to dick on it because it is I'm so glad we're finally getting it, and I'm so happy for those that have backed it, and I'm so glad for those that really want it.
It's been long overdue.
But like I said, for me, I think again, Collector Cove has just said it as well. It's too soon after the Ghost. That hasn't even shipped yet. And when you look at the value that you're getting with the Ghost and the size and that fact that it's one big thing, that to me screams HasLab more than this does. But I've said my piece. I don't want to dwell on the negatives of it because I am thrilled that it's coming. But it's something's missing. It's not just a floor or a roof.
I don't want to dick on it. I thought about this a lot, so I'll constructively dick on it. Let's get the positives out of the way first. It's fantastic that it's happening. It does look good, and I'm not backing it. Thank fuck. The only reason I'm not is because I haven't got anything to fucking put in it now. All these optimistic vintage collectors out there, think what you like, but I'm fucking telling you now, whether next year's the year of Tatooine or not, you are not getting every fucking alien that graced this cantina.
Preach.
And if Hasbro says that's what we're getting, they're full of it, because I'm still waiting for fucking characters to go in my Razor Crest, and that was 3 bastard years ago. Right.
Yeah.
The voice of a disgruntled TVC collector.
Now, here's another hot take, right? If this was something, let's pretend that this was the Ghost, because this is struggling to fund at the minute. It's slower than anything over the last few years.
Is it really? Because I saw the post the other day that it had hit 6,000.
It's at 6,000 now. The Razor Crest backed within 24 hours, and the Ghost backed in just over 24 hours.
So that speaks
give or
volumes,
take.
doesn't it?
This is 2 weeks in. They took a week off the counter because of the delay, because it was supposed to be revealed on May the 4th. They need it to end before San Diego Comic-Con because G.I. Joe are throwing their next HasLab out whilst they're there, which is bollocks because fuck off, they're two different lines, right? Now, if this was the Ghost and it was struggling, I'd be shitting bricks because that's something I really wanted. Like, I was so passionate about getting that. I'm so happy that I am getting that. So if it didn't back, I'd probably have a little fucking cry. So I understand the importance of this, and I understand the importance of the characters that'll come with it if it's backed, right? Don't all fucking hate me at once. But if it doesn't back, I'm sure it will. But if let's say it doesn't back, you've only got yourselves to fucking blame for it because you haven't shut up about a cantina for years, and the vintage community and the Hasbro team, to a point in regards to vintage collection, as it's the only HasLabs that have funded this, that, and the other, you've all surrounded it with far too much fucking overconfidence that they went into this with a shorter amount of time thinking it's OT, it's the cantina, we're going fucking back this in a day. Fantastic. Let's pile all these figures in, let's get everybody fucking hyped up about it. And I thought it was great until that video came out that you were just talking about, Steve, where they broke it down. That screamed of fucking desperation to me. That was, it hasn't backed yet, let's shove a fucking video out quick. They were that fucking desperate that they got Mandalorian figures out and they were like, look guys, it doesn't have to be original trilogy, you can put anything you want in this. Wink wink, come and fucking back it. I mean, it's great. It's so cool. If that's your thing, it is fucking cool. I can imagine being a kid on the floor playing with this. But I'm just saying, if it doesn't back, you've had it coming. If it doesn't reach full tiers, you've had it coming. Because it's so self-indulged in the fandom that it makes or breaks it. It just shows how prevalent everything that these OT purists is that they come out with, because the last two HasLabs have been modern content, whatever you want to call it. It's been current license, current IP, current shows, and they've backed like no tomorrow because the hype surrounded them. Yet every time I watch a vintage collection YouTuber, they're saying, "Oh, we're getting far too much current stuff. When are you going to fit the old stuff in?" This is your example of fitting the old stuff in. Even if it backs, it's taken longer to do it statistically. It's been received poorer than the other projects. Now, this is a biased opinion because I'm all for Clone Wars and I'm all for the prequel era, but if this had been the Havoc Marauder with a full set of Bad Batch, whether it been Season 1 or Season 2, it would have fucking backed by now.
I would have backed
and
it.
All the naysayers can go, "Oh, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Nobody likes that." Fuck off. Yes, they do. All right? You wanted the Bad Batch, didn't you? You would have fucking got them. You'd have all put your money down. You'd have put your money down twice over if the card backs were nice. I did it for the fucking Ghost. I'll hold my hands up. I don't give a shit. But this is where we are, right? Now, I'm sure it'll back. It's got 2 weeks left. So it will back. But whether it reaches them tiers or not is another question. And it always skyrockets on the last fucking day.
Do you know what the other question is as well?
I'm sorry to just interject there, Dan, but can we just take a moment, because I don't think anybody, I'll not say eloquently because I think that's the wrong word.
Yeah.
but
a spade's a fucking spade, mate.
Mate, James, I do not think anyone has said it so perfectly. That absolutely hits the nail on the head.
I'm going to say this as well. It's so full of fucking arrogance. I don't want to speak for everybody because I know I'm speaking for myself, but I want to say I want to word it this way. Yeah, who the fuck wants figures of the Tonica sisters?
Yes, he said it. He said the thing.
Like, that's one thing I'll be so happy about, whether this fails or whether it funds. I'm never going to have to open up Instagram again and see a fucking post about them.
I mean, you're not wrong.
You're so true. So true.
Like, it's not, and it's. Don't take me wrong, right? Let's not call this. I'm not pissed off about it. I'm not angry at people. This is just me talking from the heart. This is passion, right? I understand you want the figures. That's fine. Everybody's got figures that they want, that they've wished for, right? But fuck me, man. It's like what's the saying? A fucking watched pot never boils.
Yeah.
I don't need a year. You want this. Every 5 fucking minutes, every Black Series post that goes up. Why are people getting this and why aren't we getting little things? It's like, because the bigger things sell better. That's the black and white of it.
Yeah. This is, and I think this goes back as well to what I mentioned earlier when we were talking about the Mandalorians in the Black Series and what many, including myself, don't get me wrong, consider to be the golden era of Speak of the Devil. There they appear. The golden years of Star Wars collecting, which for me was like sort of 2007, 2008. And Hasbro, because the 3 3/4 inch line was their bread and butter and it was the only thing that they were chucking out, every character in his dog was getting released. And don't get me wrong, I wish it was still like that. I really, really do. In both scales, for both scales, I wish that TVC collectors were getting all the characters they want. I wish that Black Series collectors were getting all the characters they want. I wish that everybody in between was getting all the characters that they want. But the fact of the matter is now is that I'm not even going to pretend to be a businessman and that I've got my head in the business itself. But years ago, figures like and it's a bad example to use because he demands an incredible aftermarket price now. But Wilro Hood, right? Wilro Hood.
I scream.
Yeah, Wilro Hood. Yarnadal Gargan. God, you could name a number of figures that Hasbro. Akrev, there's a number. Hermiodal, as an amazing figure as he is, you could list a number of figures, and it's what made the line so great. Don't get me wrong, but you could list a number of figures, and those, like I said, Yarnadal Gargan being the exception, but those figures that I've just mentioned maybe are an exception in itself to the point I'm trying to make, because minor characters, and I'm going to say it, and I'm sorry for anybody who's excited about it, because I know there are people out there, and for the people that will eventually get the Tonica Sisters, I'm buzzing for you, right? I am genuinely. I'm not taking the piss. I'm happy for it, and I'm happy that and do you know what? Considering the campaign around getting them out into the line, for the people, I don't want to name names. I don't want to throw people under buses or anything like that. But for the people that were involved in those campaigns and those like pushes to get figures made, and that doesn't just go for the Tonica Sisters. That goes for anything. That goes for Dengar Dan, who pushed Funko to make a Dengar pop. It goes to anyone who is passionate enough about a character or a group of characters to get them made and to have an influence on the company that makes them to finally see them. That's an incredible thing, right? So we laugh and we jest and we rant, but that in itself needs to be appreciated. The fact that there is such a push from fans to get these characters and to get these figures made is incredible. So the people that were involved in that, to see it pay off, and I know that there were complications surrounding getting it done, to see it happen and to see it materialize is fucking incredible, right? And I can't stress that enough. For me, I'm in James's camp. I couldn't give two, and years ago I'd have been completely different because I wanted every Cantina alien, I wanted every background character, but now I'm conscious of space. Now I'm conscious of finances, and now I'm not. And the Tonica Sisters, I have to say it, and I'm sorry to say it because I firmly stand by everything that I've just said. But the Tonica sisters for me are just fucking boring, and I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. They're not. I'm not bothered. Nabron Leeds, I love that. That's the Power of the Force figure that I've been clamoring to get updated. What's the difference? That's a fucking boring figure for some people. I get that. I appreciate that. Different strokes for different folks, different tastes. So that's what I'm saying. I'm happy for the people that are getting it. It doesn't do it for me. And that's the general sort of feeling surrounding Star Wars. And that's why the discourse and the disagreements and the fights and the arguments that not just the movies and the shows, but the collecting and the tribalism surrounding the scales and stuff. That's why it winds me up so much, because it's just like, do you know what? At the end of the fucking day, they're toys. And if you don't like it, don't buy it. If you do like it, chuffed for you. Go out and time of your fucking life. And that's it. But for me, it doesn't do anything. And all this is this is an open forum for us and everyone in the chat to talk about what they like and what they don't like. I'm not shitting on anybody for liking something. I'm not shitting on anybody for not liking something. Like what you like and love what you love, hate what you don't, leave it alone. But for me, but James's point was absolutely 100%, because the most vocal groups of people are the ones that demand things and that they want things making. And like I said, that's a good thing because it leads to things like this.
I have just thought of something I'd like to support your point with as well, Steve. When you made that comment about fan votes and people pushing companies to make figures that they want, that's fantastic. I'm all for that. But all this March Madness stuff that happens every year, right? We know that it takes nearly 18 months for a figure to get conceptualized and then produced. So has anyone ever just sat back and thought, maybe the fact that you're doing these, you're pushing so hard for figures that you want, do you ever think that Hasbro was sat there thinking that they never know what the fuck you're asking for, because you're changing your mind day after day? Oh, I want this figure, I want this figure, I want this figure, I want this figure. Well, yesterday you wanted figures for your Cantina. Today you're asking where Balin and Shin are for Ahsoka.
And that goes back to your point that you were saying, and the point that Collector Cove's just made as well. There's probably a good reason why the sisters haven't been released before, and having to be released with a HasLab so they don't peg warm. 100% agree, because even if these figures came out in 2008, when Toys R Us was rife with figures, you know, again, bad example to use because Wilbur Hood demands a decent price on the aftermarket, but when it was available at retail, it was only a few years later that happened. When it was available at retail, same with Yana Dalgargan, it peg warmed to fuck. So if these two, especially individually carded, were available in Toys R Us in 2024, they would not move. They would not move, and that's not a detriment to the people that campaign for them. That's not a detriment to the people that at Hasbro that are actually manufacturing and making these figures and putting them into circulation. Because, like you say, for a lot of fans, it's fucking great that they're there, and I'm buzzing for that pocket of people that are. But then, like you said, James, and that's the point that you nailed so well, is that there's that demand and there's that I want this and I want that and this needs to be made and that needs to be made and we want this, and then it gets made and it's like, oh well, that's not what I wanted. That's different. That's not what I asked for. Yeah. There's no satisfaction. There's never any satisfaction. There's never any, well, I'm happy with what we've got. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
that's it, Steve. What do you think's going to happen when, let's say now this gets backed and people are getting it in hand next year? What's going to happen? What's the first thing the game fucking say? They're not going to sit there and go, I'm so happy I've got this Cantina. I've waited years for him to make this.
We'll move on to the next thing.
It's not going to be the Thanos and he rests peacefully over a world he's created. It'll be, where's this figure for it? Where's this figure for it? Where's this figure for it? And it'll be in every fucking San Diego Comic Con, every fucking interview they give.
That's so important.
The poor sods don't know where they're coming from.
And again,
the biggest problem for me, I have to say, is there's a lot of collectors out there who are new to the game, who haven't picked up these pre-existing figures to have on display with it. So really, they're in the hopes that they will release them. And granted, yeah, there are a couple like we're seeing here that we get included. But you're just going to have, for a long time, if you are a new collector, a bunch of empty chairs at empty fucking tables.
Empty
And who wants that?
Tables.
Who wants that? Who wants that? No one. But the people who've got the figures there, they're going to be buzzing for them because they've got a nice display for the figures. But for the newbies, for the people who don't have all the aliens, they're going to be having to pay tenfold for the prices that are being charged second hand for some of those figures as well.
They're already astronomical, and it's not even a guarantee they're getting this yet.
That's it. It's just a lot of food for thought. It's a lot of investment than what something like the Ghost would be, because the Ghost is that's something you've got it there. You've got all the figures to accommodate with it for the most part,
and it doesn't need that massive amount of figures either.
Yeah.
It's just it needs 4 or 5. It just needs a handful. It's like James was saying with the Razor Crest. Yeah, there was the promise there the figures were going to come out to populate it, but for the most part, I mean, it's it would be nice if more came, but for the most part, for Mandalorian, we've got a decent selection of characters.
You know what winds me up a touch about just mentioning the Ghost? You've got people critiquing this cantina to say, like, where's the band stage? Where's this? Where's that? Can it be weathered? Where's this detail? Where's that? Not fucking once when the Ghost was running did I see somebody comment where the spray painting was of Ezra falling on Zeb that Sabine does in season 1. When Chopper takes the pins out the bunk bed, that's not even on the ship as far as I'm aware, and not once did I see somebody asking where that was. So don't come to me now and tell me your cantina's not dirty enough.
And to that point again, surrounding what people are saying and what people want from it and what people expected from it, there's a lot of talk around the cantina for electronics, which I get. Like I think someone mentioned, oh, why couldn't they have stuck a little light in the droid detector? 100%. It needed. I think this would have, and I understand the talk around cost and all that sort of stuff, but that's why these HasLabs are as expensive as they are.
Yeah. Because
they go that extra mile to include those little details. This thing should play the Cantina band music.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Allegedly, it was conceptualized when I was watching the latest Out of the Basement stream today.
It's not. I'm sorry, but it's not hard to include electronics in toys. And if you're charging 500 quid for something, I want it to make sounds.
Well, they said, I think it was Black Sheep's Cantina podcast had Full On to Zuckus on, and something was said about the original concept having lights, sounds, and it was supposed to have 8 figures. So I don't know whether that's true. I don't know where the info's coming from. Take from it what you will, but that's the most iconic thing of that scene. It's the music.
That's it. It's the band. It's the populace within the cantina itself. And and again, like Dan said, and like you said, James, as well, like you're kidding yourself if you think that you're getting all of the characters for it, even the ones that have been released already. Most of those figures aren't going to get re-released. Most of those figures aren't going to get remade. I don't think we're going to see Hem Dazon or Christ. Who else have we got? So I've got quite a few Cantina aliens, to be fair. I don't think we're going to see Danik Jericho again. No. I don't think we're going to see Elos Madak again. If that's his name, I forget. I don't think we're going to get Ellis Hellrow, Mia Munith, Kitik Keed Kak. I don't think we're getting any of those. That might be wrong, and I can't wait to be proved wrong. And I can't wait to come on the next stream and when they are announced and say, "I'm sorry, guys," but I don't see it. I don't see
Bosch
it.
X.
No, that's what I mean.
I remember dreaming about half a cantina.
This is what I mean. I think if you've been like you've both said, if you've been in the game long enough, you've probably got enough figures to populate it, and those are the people that I think are going to be really, really excited about this. And I'm excited about it. I don't have the space for it, right? As much as I want it. That's the reason why the Cantina diorama that I made all those years ago is still sat in my parents' loft, because I can't get it out and display it.
Did you guys see the excuse they gave about the stage for the band? Because in the film,
No.
they're on a stage, evidently.
Yeah.
But apparently, because it was a different set and the stage isn't part of the blueprints for the actual cantina itself, and the film just cuts to it, we didn't include it, just put the band in one of the alcoves. You're a toy company. Take some creative liberty. And that back area that's got fucking nothing in it, make a stage. Or say, here's a pipeline, guys. If this backs, we'll commit to making one of the next play sets, the band stage, and you'll get the other members of the modal nodes with it that you couldn't make by getting 3 figurine Dans from the main line.
Yeah.
Because that's a big point of contention, is that big pack has sold out now, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, and that's the thing. I mean, like when you talk about potential, I mean, Sea Lions mentioned it in the comments again. He said the point of HasLabs is to make dream projects. For me, this is a dream project. The idea of having a Mos Eisley Cantina playset is up there with having a Death Star playset, and that would probably be the next thing that people would move on from after this gets backed and it's in people's collections. It'll be then, where's our Death Star set?
Wait, it's not a ball. I don't want it.
If it's not made of cardboard. Sorry. I'm such a knob. But you know, like for me, this is a dream project, and if it was done, you know, I'm not a toy manufacturer, I'm not a toy designer, but I feel like this should have been done differently. And there's a lot of people that do. There's a lot of people that are happy with it, and I'm absolutely fine with both sides of the coin. But for me, I'd have done this differently. And like you were saying about like pipelining stuff and revealing, like doing add-ons to it, if this thing had a more solid foundation, and I'm not just talking about a floor, but if this thing had a more solid foundation, for me, again, I don't want to speak for everyone either, James. So, you know, for me, this isn't strong enough for me to back.
Yeah.
If it had a stronger foundation and there was more about it that I liked, I'd back it. And the idea of making additional playsets to this in the same sort of scale as the Tantive 4 playset or the Navarro Cantina, where you can, and I'm going to use the term non-ironically, world build, right? There is a massive opportunity here with the Cantina to world build. And I think releasing, like you said, a playset with the bandstand for the actual band, releasing an exterior for the Cantina, so you've got the doorway from the outside with the giant fucking ball droid thing, and a land speeder, and you know, something that you can then again add into those modules and building upon it, literally world building. You know, because that's one of the things I want to see from if a Death Star playset ever gets made. I want to see it, you know, in modules. I do want that to be modular, and I want it to stack, and I want it to build out, and I want it to, you know, I want it to be like fucking Tetris. I want it to be.
So what? I mean,
but I don't know what it is about this that just falls short for me.
I think for me, this could have been done as a separate set of releases.
Yeah.
So, you know, like the part works. And, why am I referencing Fanomate? Ugh. But, like, every section could have come with a bunch of aliens, like a couple of aliens with each segment, and you build it up eventually. Maybe do it as a subscription service, I don't know. But it's just throwing ideas out there.
Yeah, no.
Conceptually, it's cool, but there's just a lot.
It's such a straight over the goalpost, though, isn't it? For me,
yeah.
Like, for me anyway. For me, it's just like, oh, you were so close. You were so close. When it got announced, I was like, no! I was frustrated more than anything else because I wanted it to be better. I really did, and I feel like such a knobsack for saying it because it's like it is good, but it's I'm being a hypocrite because I'm going, well, it's good, but I wanted this instead, and that's what I've just kicked off about. But
do you think they rushed to do another vintage collection one too soon? Because we've had
absolutely
so many vintage collection HasLabs that maybe they should have had a breath.
Yeah.
To maybe do something Black Series. And I
no,
know that's
everybody will laugh at that, won't they? But I agree with you.
That's it. That's it, because the Rancor flopped.
But I mean that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, it's not like we're sat here being biased just because we're primarily Black Series biased. Because the Black Series Rancor was shite. The tiers for it were shite. It was
Yeah.
I'm not being funny. It was a shit idea from the get go. I never really got behind even the idea of it. And then when
I agree with you, Steve.
And then when they started dropping the cardboard back, I was just like, oh, fuck off. That's it. Wow. Yeah. So I get, but I think for me, I mean, again, I don't want to slag anybody off, but like a lot of people said, oh, the reason that it's been delayed and it's been held back is because we're making it absolutely perfect, so it's ready to go, and I'm like, well, what did it look like before then?
Yeah.
If this is it completely fine tuned, what did it fucking look like before? Or was it purely just a bit of a get out clause because it got leaked early and they weren't buzzing about it, so they thought, well, let's just like, instead of looking like it's a reaction to an action and officially revealing it after it's literally just been leaked, we'll delay it a bit, give people a chance to forget about the leak, and then when it gets officially announced, everybody goes, oh, fucking hell, there it is. You know what I mean? So it's, I don't know. I just don't think I've ever fully been behind HasLabs. And I'll say it, like, even with the Razor Crest, I love it, and I haven't got one. I love it. It looks great, and I want one, but not for that money. I just don't. I can't get behind these massive projects that cost so bloody much. And that's not me being tight. That's just me being honest. You know, it's.
No, I know what you're saying. I can speak firmly as somebody that owns the Razor Crest. I can tell you now it wasn't worth 320 quid, but it wasn't until it come out that I don't think anybody realised it was underscaled. So you know. Do you want to know what I'm most excited about with this Cantina set? The stickers. I fucking love that sticker sheet.
I haven't put it in.
Comes with it.
There's a picture of it as well, but I haven't put it in.
It's so fucking cool. You've got like a pod racing poster.
Oh,
there's Sabine's Phoenix Squadron graffiti. Wanted posters, Imperial propaganda posters, we want you, that kind of bollocks. If this backs and if people have bought multiple or whatever the fuck's going on, if somebody don't want that sticker sheet, I'll buy it off you.
No,
that's the only thing I want in it.
That's cool. That's really cool. But I think that option as well. I mean, I get that it's modular and that's all well and good, but just the ability to be able to customize it that little bit further would have been good as well. But for me, like I said, the main kicker is just the fact that it's just not a solid, in place piece. And I get that, and I do appreciate the adjustments that they've made to it to make it, and I'll say collector friendly, so that you can fit it in any sort of room. But then the problem that you've got then is that if you do what they did on the Hasbro video, where you modularize it and you put it in a bookcase because that's the only room you've got for it, you've got half a Cantina on a shelf, the other half packed away in a box, and then you spent 400 quid on a Cantina that's only half built.
Yeah.
Which again goes back to Dan's point, do it in separate bits. If they'd have done 4 or 5 play sets similar in size to the Tantave or to the Cantina, the Navarro Cantina, and one play set was the bar and a couple of chairs, one set was the alcoves with Han. Do you know what? I'd have been happy with just that. The bar and the alcove with Han and Greedo, that'd have done me. I'd have been absolutely fine with that, and I'd have paid 50 quid for each set, and I'd have stuck it on a shelf with an exclusive figure in each, and I'd have been buzzing. And that's what JCC's mentioned in there as well. I think this really highlights how good the Lego one is. The Lego Cantina,
absolutely,
me, is vastly superior in terms of playability.
And it's cheaper, is it? No, it is now. It's cheaper now. It wasn't when it came out, but
no, I think it. Not when it came out, but yeah, I think when it was at retail, it was about 50 quid cheaper than this.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like I said, I don't want to rant. I do not want to rant because I do still stand by the fact that this is very, very cool. And the fact that we're getting it is brilliant.
Yeah.
It's been a very, very long time coming. It's not for me. That's fine. You know, I think the real main issue is like you said, the vocal minority that really do.
It's fueled by overconfidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And overconfidence is the weakness. as we
Yeah.
all know.
He didn't.
To what you were saying about Black Series HasLabs, I'm so sick and tired of hearing, oh, well, all yours have failed, so that's why it's going to be vintage. Well, have you ever thought of just giving us another fucking chance? They've got to fine-tune this thing. 3 3/4 inch stuff's been around for fucking 40 years.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. They know how they're building it.
Yeah.
6-inch stuff is still in its infancy, even though it's 10 years old, so they need to fine-tune this.
It's not only that as well.
Lucasfilm need to stop pushing, because nobody wanted that fucking lightsaber for a start.
Yeah.
They just need to find the right scale of something to do. A Jedi Interceptor or something that size. It's not a lot of money. Look at G.I. Joe, how they are doing the smaller vehicles with a figure.
Yeah. I think that's the thing as well, isn't it? I mean, for me, I would much rather see... I mean, you couldn't have... And I get why they shifted to this sort of format, because the First Order TIE Fighter, the Black Series First Order TIE Fighter, was a flop. You know, I've got one, and I regret the fucking thing, but it didn't do well, and it didn't perform at retail, and no retailer wanted to take it on because it took up so much bloody shelf space, and that is a totally understandable point of view. For me, and I understand and I appreciate you couldn't HasLab it because people would scoff, but the Snowspeeder that Dan showed off earlier today, like, you do a vehicle that's not similar in scale to that, but like you said, James, I think the top of my list for a Black Series HasLab is a Jedi Interceptor. And it's not the biggest vehicle. Yeah, it's not the biggest vehicle, but for a 6-inch figure, it's probably going to be so big.
Yeah.
But even if the vehicle's not fucking huge, add-ons make the tiers worth it. You know, if you release that Jedi Interceptor in a giant Revenge of the Sith themed box with figures from Revenge of the Sith that were brand new, updated, the best possible versions of those characters on Revenge of the Sith cards, buzz droids, super battle droids, flame effects for R2, you know, stuff like that, and just bulk it up with little bits. Flight stand, bulk it up with little bits that make sense and add to the overall presentation of the thing. I think you've got a much better success on your hands with something like that. The HasLab, and this goes back to what the HasLab Razor Quest. This goes back to what you were just saying, James, about fine tuning things. You know, oh, that's a good point. Sea-Line's just mentioned hyperspace ring on it as well. You know, just stuff like that. Stuff like that would be amazing. I'd be so down for that. But this goes back to what you mentioned about fine-tuning things. And I think for me, I feel like Hasbro fine-tuned the Vintage Collection HasLabs, and now they're just throwing shit to a wall and hoping it sticks. Because the Razor Crest, pricey, but very, very good. The Ghost, pricey, worth it, but very, very good. You know, Mos Eisley Cantina, not so much. Boba Fett Throne Room wasn't a HasLab. Big, worth it, very, very good.
They thought about it, though, funny enough. They pitched it as a HasLab, so what made them turn around and say, oh, hang on a minute, that's not worth a HasLab.
Yeah,
let's do it differently.
That's what I'm saying. There's such a disconnect between the throne room and the cantina that I just don't see that. I don't see enough of a difference between the two. That one warrants.
What's so ironic that I find, I'm in the minority again. I'm probably one of the only collectors that displays that with 2 fucking figures in it, and that's Boba Fett and Fennec, because that's where I collect for TVC. I collect the Disney Plus stuff, the Mandoverse stuff, if you'll say so. Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and then I'll buy the Rebel stuff to tie into Ahsoka, because I like Rebels. We didn't really get very good figures for them back in the day. But 2 figures in that set, it still commands much more of a presence than that Cantina will with 10.
Precisely.
Yeah.
There we go. Dan, you've been somewhat quiet. What are you have thrown in your thoughts, but what are your general feelings towards this? Because I think
you guys, you've covered it. You've covered it. Other than the fact, I think for me, there's a real sort of disconnect from new collectors that's definitely seen. I think they rushed out to do a vintage collection thing this year, and they should have maybe took a back seat on it. Maybe took stock, maybe put out like a poll to find out what people would be interested in.
Yeah.
Because I miss that. I miss when Hasbro actually used to do fan polls, and even though a lot of them did seem rigged, it was nice that they put them out there for people to, put the 10 pence in, say what they'd like to see. And I think that's definitely needed for not only vintage collection, but I think Black Series as well, especially as it is really, as James said, in its infancy.
It'd be good, wouldn't it, if they had a big website where they could put one of these polls on for everybody to vote.
Do it as like them spider diagrams where it's like versus each other. Group of characters. All right.
Yeah.
Polls, where fans come first. But only when you pay 40 quid a year.
And that's enough to make you flatline.
Bloody hell. Well, there we go. I think we've covered that pretty extensively, I think. I honestly thought, we like I said, we're for the most part these days, the three of us are primarily Black Series focused. It's been a bloody long time since we spent that long on a vintage collection product, so TVC collectors watching, take that as a win. Take that as a win.
Rustled our jimmies enough, didn't you?
Oh, not all, not half. Like Sea Lion says, this really got eaten. It bloody did. I'm roasting.
Yeah.
I am. So I'm gonna let you guys get on with your evening now. It has been a really good chat. I think we've covered probably a little bit more than we were planning to throughout this one. The discourse has been good. The chat has been on fire tonight, and again, to everyone who's watched, interacted, thrown your thoughts around, super chats, that's a first time thing. Amazing. It's been in terms of just overall interaction, I think this has probably been one of the best ones of these that we've ever done. So yeah, I've really appreciated everybody tuning in and getting involved. It's been brilliant. And if you guys have got any thoughts, any topics that you want us to cover, if there's anything that you guys can contribute towards what you want to see in these streams, what you want to see us talk about, because we have sort of diverged into the realm of just doing the product reveals and the current media and all that sort of stuff. But we started these streams off with an idea of talking about the stuff that doesn't usually get covered in YouTube videos, so not just the reviews and the modern stuff and the, going back to the side quest streams we did about the Legion stuff and Power of the Force and Clone Wars and stuff like that, Blast from the Past. Like, if there's anything more niche topics like that you guys want to get involved in and want to contribute towards the stream and suggest for future ones, then by all means leave a comment down below. But no, it's been absolutely amazing. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and thank you Zatanna as well. I'm glad you enjoyed our brainstorms. That's a good one for a future one, I think. Potential HasLab.
Yeah, that's
a really good one. Sea Lion top 10 lists. Maybe we should stream where we're all rubbing our mundies,
underneath my Darth Maul bed sheets.
Maybe the super chats
have been extinct for a millennia.
That's what he thinks.
The super chats came in fast tonight. Maybe it's time for other paid content.
Only Dan's.
Yes.
Oh, so you like figures? Oh, look at that. Oh.
I think that's where we call it.
I cater to all genders.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Ta-ra!
Taking all units. Fire it with 1-2. Pick your target. Watch the stabilizer go 6. Anybody cover me. I don't suppose they've got my tail. Gotta hold them here. Watch your left. I can't shake them. Okay. Wait for reinforcements.